we interrupt the regularly scheduled program to bring you this important message.
We will, in the near future, see a return appearance by that mythical figure, the man, the myth, the legend that is Eric Bugenhagen. Don't mute it, Toby. Chant it loud for the world to hear. Because they must know. They must know.
The world must know.
The bird is no longer the word. The word is now
the Bugenhagen.
But first, the Zamboni Wrestling Podcast.
Yes, something far, far, far less interesting.
I would listen to the Bugenhagen all day long.
Or just watch. Just watch.
Listen. I'd listen. That scream is just...
I mean, do we need to rename this the Zamboni Bugenhagen Podcast? Or some variation?
Take out the Zamboni, just call it the
Bugenhagen
Fan Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
BFAS.
What do you call me?
So now that we're all over that, words just cannot describe how amazing he is. Seriously, people, if you in Radioland, if you still haven't checked it out, check out Eric Bugenhagen on YouTube, NXT.
The man, the myth, legend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best thing NXT's done in years.
But let's talk about something that we can actually, talk about in depth.
Maybe want to introduce ourselves first?
Again?
I suppose.
Surely we're playing the same 10 people we played last week, really.
That's 15 now.
Ooh! It's a 50% increase.
Damn right.
Indeed, yeah.
Oh, go on then. Why the fuck not? For new listeners who don't know who we are. This podcast is hosted by...
Mr. Toby Smash.
And is hosted by...
Mr. Nick Bartlett.
And myself, the Mark of Zorina.
Okay, I'm slightly more acclimatized to that. It's a little less freaky this time.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Elimination Chamber, gentlemen.
The first major speed bump on the road to WrestleMania is now just disappearing in the rearview mirror.
Indeed,
it's kind of. I kind of look at it like a service station because it's kind of built interestingly.
You mean like the first service station you get to when you're on a long haul?
Yeah.
Get all your snacks, your piss break in before you can't. Yeah. Okay.
I can see that.
So, Elimination Chamber is the early piss stop on the road to WrestleMania.
It doesn't really quite have the same ring to it,
I don't know. I think we made it better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have actually improved upon that in a way.
Hell yeah.
So, we've all seen the show. What do we have in total? Was it 6 or 7 matches?
I counted 7. Let me just double check that. 1, 2...
6 on the main card.
So 7 it is.
Yeah. But unlike the main office and the main head honchos at WWE, we actually do give a monkeys about the Cruiserweight division, so we will still talk about the Cruiserweight Championship match.
Yeah.
Which was up first.
Of course, on the pre-show. Yeah, featuring Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy. What do you guys think?
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, unfortunately, I did not have the time to watch the pre-show. I feel really bad for that because I fucking love those two, and I'm sure the match was fantastic. I just didn't have the time.
Well, to me, it kind of just had that feeling of a bog standard 205 main event,
which is still damn good.
Well, yeah, I mean they're decent matches, but it kind of just had that feeling of, look, it's the pre-show, and not only is it the pre-show, it's the pre-show to a pay-per-view that isn't really that super important. It's one of the gimmick pay-per-views that we just do to make them stand out from the others. It's not one of the big 4, and you're on the pre-show for that.
Yeah.
So don't feel the need to go all out or anything. I mean, it was a good match, decent performance by both.
Certainly wasn't a bad match in any way.
Oh no, they never are. But it was pretty much what you'd expect to see in the main event of 205 Live on a weekly basis anyway.
Yeah.
So a decent performance, but I don't think that if you ever look back on the first title reign of Buddy Murphy as a Cruiserweight champion, you're going to go, you got to check out Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa Elimination Chamber pre-show, man. Because, it wasn't, super fantastic.
No.
A decent outing, decent showing, but it was a Cruiserweight title match on the pre-show.
Indeed.
And, of course, Murphy came out on top and I'm pretty sure I called that last time we
Yeah.
all convened and said there was no way he was going to lose that.
No,
so.
I don't see him losing it anywhere between now and WrestleMania, to be honest.
I mean, I did not do well. No, I didn't do entirely well on the old prediction front this time round. But yeah, we'll get into that later on. But yeah, good solid opener. Again, nothing to rant and rave about. It kind of deserved to be on the pre-show.
Fair enough.
And yes, I hope. And now they're doing yet another tournament in the cruiserweight division to determine Mr. Murphy's next opponent.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Is that going to be for Mania or for Fastlane?
I think it's actually for Mania.
Yeah, the last time they did one was about this time, and they finished it at Mania, so I wouldn't be surprised.
So I'm guessing that if there's, I'm sure there will be a pre-show for Fastlane, that cruiserweight title won't be on it, and
I guess not, no.
they won't even have a match for March.
It's a shame.
Lovely.
Yeah, never mind.
Nice.
But yeah, so a tournament to determine who's going to be Buddy Murphy's next challenger. Hopefully it's going to be somebody new.
Yeah.
God, I hope it's someone new.
To be fair, I haven't kept up. I mean, it seems like the majority of the characters have chopped and changed allegiances. I mean, like Jack Gallagher's heel alongside Drew Gulak now.
Oh, okay.
Brian Kendrick is face. TJP is
Gone.
which we will address again later on. I don't know. Actually, maybe old Humberto Carrillo might get a sniff in, because they seem to be quite high on him, having transferred him from NXT over to 205.
In fairness, it does sound like something you could get high on.
Humberto Carrillo.
It sounds like a street name for something, maybe.
Yeah. Indeed.
I'll take a hit of that Humberto Carrillo.
Hey man, you got any more of that Humberto Carrillo shit?
Yeah.
So that was the only match in the pre-show this particular instance, wasn't it? It was only an hour long.
Yes.
And the pre-show also featured, I didn't actually watch this with audio on, but I know it happened. There was a little promo between Ruby Riott and the Riott Squad with Charlotte Flair talking about the Raw Women's title match. As I say, I don't know what was said. I didn't actually watch it with audio on. So I'm guessing it was more along the lines of, yeah, good luck out there. I'll kick your ass at Mania if you win. Woo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was, we're going to take all the titles tonight. And Charlotte being like, go ahead, I'll kick your ass at Mania. Have a good night. That's kind of it.
Okay.
She missed nothing there.
Excellent.
You guessed what they said. So
yeah. Sometimes I think I subliminally write these promos. There's some transceiver in Stanford where they just pick up my thoughts.
Maybe you write them in your sleep and send them out before you wake up, and then
I sleep right.
Yeah.
Sleep book.
yes.
Sleep booker.
Which I mean that
Sleep booker.
I mean that still feels better than the booking they have at current. So
I don't know, because they're doing it and people are complaining. Who knows what I could come up with if I was actually awake.
yeah.
And they also had I'm sure this was on the pre-show, a weird promo with Kevin Owens eating pizza in a car at a bowling alley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. With his son. Well, the one at Chamber, I think, was him in his car. Just in his car. And then the next one on Raw was him with his son at, like, the movies. And his son's like, keeps interrupting, like, can I buy this? And he's like, no, go away. I'm talking. And it's just really awkward.
Okay.
Like,
So this is to set up his return.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird, because he was touting on the internet that he wasn't going to be coming back for 2 or 3 months. And now all of a sudden he's coming back. So I'm guessing that was just to throw people off.
He said he's about a month away in the promo.
When we talk about other things later on, his name may resurface.
Indeed.
Based on what I've read elsewhere.
Okay, I look forward to that.
The rumour and innuendo mill can wait until later on. We're here to talk about Elimination Chamber right now, so main card. Which sorry, hold on. What?
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Before you get to that, I just wanted to give a little honourable mention to a random interview with Mark Henry. So he comes out, he's going to do his interview, and the first question is to do with his upcoming special that was aired straight after Chamber.
Yeah.
And he basically interrupts the question and goes, before I answer this, let's give it up for the Cruiserweight title and that match. And the whole crowd are like, oh yeah, great, yeah, clap along again. And it was like, okay, you didn't need to do that. But
no, that was pretty classy.
Shows that there are some wrestlers in there that are like, watch the fucking Cruiserweights.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he took that and kind of ran with it. And then he kind of went straight back to his question and got on with answering about that. And they asked him who he thought was going to win the women's tag titles. His prediction was the Iconics. And he said, I know they can go the distance. I know they can do what needs to be done. They're my pick.
Which they can.
Yeah,
They very much
definitely.
can.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
No, spoilers.
But, we'll discuss how the match went anyway in a minute.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it kind of made sense.
that is the first matchup on the main card.
Indeed.
So,
An elimination chamber featuring 6 tag teams consisted of talent from the women's division, which we discussed this in, well, not in great detail, but we did discuss it last time.
Yep.
Just very, very briefly, the teams involved were the Iconics, Nia Jax and Tamina, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Fire and Desire, as they're apparently going to be referred to now, Carmella and Naomi, the Boston Hug Connection, and Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. And the 2 starting teams were Sasha Banks and Bayley, and
Correct.
it was Deville and Rose as well,
Correct.
wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
And
Do you know the order they all came in? Because I've got it written down.
they had lost matches. They both lost triple threat matches, hadn't they? Which is why they had to start first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of the order of who came in next, was it not Riots after that,
Yep.
Yeah.
and Iconics after that,
Yep.
and then was it Naomi and Carmella?
Yep.
And then Jax and Tamina came in last.
Nice.
Right, okay.
Yep.
All right, now do the order they were kicked out.
In terms of order of elimination, was it not Naomi and Carmella first?
Yep.
And then it was the Iconics.
Yep.
Then it was Jax and Tamina.
Oh,
Oh, no, okay. So it was Morgan and
Logan.
then Jax and Tamina.
Yep.
Followed by... Yeah, because I forgot. Because I was originally thinking while watching the match, is like, the two of the SmackDown teams have been eliminated already. So that must mean that the other 2 Raw teams are going out now, and it's going to be SmackDown versus Raw at the end, which is how it panned out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of notes about the match, but yeah, I pretty enjoyed it quite a bit.
I didn't take an awful lot of notes. I mean, I noticed that when Jax went through the
Pod.
sort of pod, she almost went out the back of it because it cracked when she hit it, and there's a huge crack behind her. And one of the refs was like, "Fuck!" Like, I just nearly got squashed by Nia Jax. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Was that it? Is that your only note?
No, but it's the first thing that popped out on my list of notes there. Like,
What were your other observations?
the other observations, there was I noticed a botch on that group suplex spot.
Oh, the fucking Tower of Doom.
Yeah.
Really? What was that?
I can't remember who, because I'm an idiot and didn't write it down, but whoever was, if you're looking in the corner they were all coming from, whoever was bottom left, like, tripped up as they were coming down.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
There's nothing major,
nothing major.
No.
but
There
it was
were
very
worse-
noticeable.
There was a worse botch than that.
Yeah, there was a few.
Yeah. Anything else?
See, I know you guys will get to the actual nitty gritty, so I always write down really stupid things. One thing that always really bugs me with the whole like women's revolution thing is people that come in and just screech and scream.
Yep, I had a note on that,
fucking
yep.
hate it. It's like, I don't think you're doing yourself any justice with that.
No.
And the Iconics were doing that the entire fucking time they were in there, and I found it really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So did I. That was one of the points I was going to bring up, so you've
Yeah.
sucked that out of my brain.
Apologies.
Already. But yeah, it's just reminiscent of the terrible Divas
100%.
Yeah.
era.
I think it's a big detractor from the women's revolution.
Yeah.
This whole like just screeching and screaming thing. It's like, come on, just fuck off.
Yeah.
Because I was singing their praises last time, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I can't about how they can both go, and they did show evidence of that in that chamber match.
They
But
did.
yes,
Yeah.
the god awful screeching needs to stop.
Yep.
Really needs to stop.
Yep.
Um,
The only other note I put down was Sonya Deville tapped. Is that really necessary?
tap to what?
Her getting knocked out was her getting.
Oh
kicked out.
yeah, she got put in a funky version of the bank statement, didn't she?
Yeah,
Sorry.
and then she
Yeah, that
tapped
was a
out.
really nice modification. Well, that was good.
I don't know. In my head, I was like, "Why the fuck is she tapping out?"
Mm.
Like, does that not just make her look even weaker?
Because it's Sasha Banks, and that finish is made to look super amazing.
Yeah, I suppose.
And like,
she puts that on, and that's it. It's like, okay, how long? Basically, when I watch a Sasha Banks match, I sit there and go, right, how long before she puts the Banks statement in?
Yeah.
And if the person doesn't tap to it, especially if they're in one of those situations where they're in it for ages, then that's when I'm like, right, okay, so she's going to lose then.
Yeah.
When was the last time she won with like a random roll up or the frog splash or anything like that? It's always with that move.
Always a bank statement.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that combat. I can't even remember who it was on. I'm guessing it was when they eliminated the Riots. Well, no, it wasn't, because I'm sure they did it on Sonya Deville when she hit the backstabber and Deville came straight back up.
Oh,
Bailey,
yeah. Into the belly to belly. That was awesome.
That was
I
very good.
I highlighted that. That was so
good.
cool.
That was a very good sequence. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, so my highlights...
That's all of your notes done, is it?
Like I say, I purposely take stupid notes because I know...
I want to hear them now!
No, that's it. That's kind of really it.
Oh, right, okay, fine.
Just because I don't know the names of moves, and you guys do.
Yeah.
Oh, Shikoroshi! Yeah, sorry.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not the technical knowledge of this podcast by a very long way. Like, I am I quite enjoyed that, and then everyone
You're
goes,
the Percy
why?
Watson of the NXT announce booth.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry, right.
I'm the idiot who likes wrestling. He watches it and goes, that was really good, and everyone goes, no, it wasn't. And I go,
It's
oh,
just
okay.
down to your opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We were outside Suburbia, weren't we, before we did the first show, and there was those two dudes who were like, well into our wrestling, and I can't remember what I said, but the guy who was older than both of us turned around and going, you haven't got a clue what you're chatting about, mate, you don't know nothing. And 5 minutes later, after continuing to talk about it, he's suddenly then, and there's no more drinks in between. This conversation was all outside in the smoking area. Within 5 minutes, he's then going, yeah, this guy knows his stuff. I was like, well, it's just, you just didn't agree with my first opinion, and now you've agreed with every opinion I've expressed
because
since.
that was a Becky Lynch Charlotte thing that started that, wasn't it?
I think so. It might
And
be.
he's head over heels for Becky Lynch and doesn't care for
No,
Charlotte.
he was banging. I'm sure he was banging on about Kenny Omega, and I was just like, I don't see what the fuss is, and that's when he started getting shitty. And then we carried on from there, and it's just like, okay, yeah, no, I do actually respect to what you're talking about.
But either way, gentlemen.
So yeah, my notes. I thought Bailey and Sasha showed off the really good chemistry they have as a team. Like a lot of the double teams and a lot of the sequences they put together really flowed. Like you can see from their matches they've had together, and from the fucking awful tag team matches they've had together, they really know how to work together as a team, and that got showcased really fucking well in that match, I thought.
There's a long-standing theory that people who are great friends outside the ring have the best matches together.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Even against each other.
Yeah,
It's better when the two talent get on really well as individuals, and then they can. That's when they produce their best work. That's when they've got somebody that can just rattle ideas off.
yeah. I had a
Yeah,
note
okay,
here.
you can tombstone me through 50 tables. Yeah, cool,
Yeah,
awesome,
like,
right?
Cool, yeah. I had a note
Will
here that
do.
quite literally says, "Fuck's sake, they need to stop booking the Iconics as a comedy act. They are too good for this shit. However, I can live without hearing their screechy voice. That shit's annoying as fuck." So yeah, that.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Iconic.
There it is.
There we go. He does this every now and then. It's a problem.
I do it every time.
As we said last
Every
time,
show.
it's a tick.
Yeah,
Every show.
yeah. I thought Corey Graves slobbering over Mandy Rose was just a bit on the nose after everything that's come out in the last few days.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
needed to stop.
I mean, they bang on about how creepy. Renee Young and the others
Yeah.
bang on about how creepy it is anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
that was even. It's just like, yeah, dude, it's bad enough that you say this sort of stuff, but we all know what's actually been going on at the moment, which we'll discuss in a future topic in this particular episode.
Yeah.
I've got a few notes on that for later.
Let's stick to the wrestling for now.
Sure. Liv Morgan made Naomi look good. I never thought I'd say that about anyone, because I'm not a fan of Naomi. Like, there's too many botches in there. Like, some of her athletic stuff is decent, but she's just slightly too green still. I think she needs work.
I don't. Apart from her women's championship run, because as we said last week, I don't watch SmackDown, and she hasn't been on pay-per-view a great deal, apart from like multi-women matches and stuff like that. But in terms of like her week-to-week performance, would you, based on what you've just said, comparing it to watching a bog-standard Sabu match from ECW, where more often than not he'd go for some random springboard move and totally fuck it up.
Yeah, better than that. He's not accidentally nearly killed himself. She's not accidentally nearly killed herself yet. But, I mean, yeah. Still not sure how Tamina has a job. It remains a mystery to me.
She's Snooker's offspring.
Yeah.
Although I didn't do anything for old Manu, but...
Yeah.
No, sorry, not Manu. Sim Snooker. And then he nearly killed The Undertaker. So.
Yeah.
I thought she was better than she has been recently, but when she went for the fucking Superfly splash,
Superfly,
she just, it just looked lazy. Just like she couldn't give a fuck what she was doing. She was just like, I'm just here for the paycheck.
Yeah. I must admit, as much as I was pissed off with the Iconics getting the comedy thing, the spot with them when they were the only ones standing up, and Naomi and Tamina and Nia came in. The spot with them getting back into their pods was fucking hilarious. That was extremely funny.
Yeah,
Big
I did
props
like that.
to them for that. I enjoyed that a lot.
I did like that.
I did also really enjoy their double team pin on Naomi. I thought that was clever.
Yeah.
Damn it! Stop stealing my ideas. That was like the only thing I had left to say about them. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
The double team flipping stunner from Liv and Sarah was really cool. I can't remember who she did that on. But where she got herself put in the position, and then Liv basically helped her. Yeah, Liv helped her flip. Basically, was really quite cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was on. It might even have been on Tamina.
No, I don't
it was on
remember.
someone quite a bit heavier than her, and it made it look really cool as a team.
First, when you started talking about this, I was like, when the fuck was that? And now the more you describe it, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I think I do remember that now. Yeah.
Anything else? Quite a few, like when people had big bumps, I was like, oh, that person's dead now. Pushes F. That's random online. Push F to pay respects.
Right.
There was a spot where Sasha threw Nia over the ropes, and I think Sonya was supposed to catch her and was just nowhere near.
Sonya was supposed to catch Nia? Well, that would have been impressive.
It looked like it, but maybe. There was a push F to pay respects to the pod at one point. One of my favourite quotes here that I read and made myself laugh in hindsight, reading it like a week later. Tamina stared at Nia's down body like she saw the corpse of her own career.
Oh, that must be the fucking dust by now.
Jesus.
I absolutely loved that backstabber belly to belly combo. That was just A+. I've not got really much else that I've not said. Oh, one big thing that I really hate about what WWE does is the post-match in-ring interviews. Does not feel to me, although they're trying to make it more like a sport, after someone's just been trying not to die for 45 minutes, does not seem like a good ideal time to get their opinion. Like, they're very rarely that good.
And
in my opinion, anyway.
And they were very emotional.
I don't know. I mean, last year, when they interviewed Bliss after the first chamber, I thought that was a great promo. I mean, when she did the whole, oh, thank you so much, I've just proven why I'm so much better than all of you.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's just Bliss.
It has its moment of being good.
I think that just goes down to the promo ability of that person. And yes, okay, Sasha and Bayley were probably exhausted. They had started from the very beginning of that match, whereas
match.
The year before, Bliss was the last one in.
Yeah.
They were absolutely knackered, and it was one of those. It's not a promo.
No.
This is one of a heartfelt reaction to what has just occurred.
It's almost a shoot, really.
What I didn't like about that, and it's exactly the same as with the grizzled young veterans in NXT UK. You only talk to one of them.
Yeah.
You're interviewing a tag team.
Yeah.
They always talk to Gibson. James Drake never gets to say anything. Only asked Sasha. Well, she asked them both, but only Sasha spoke.
Yeah.
And Bayley didn't say anything. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but that's just me.
No, I agree.
That's the extent of my notes for that match.
Right, I'm kind of surprised that... you might have noticed this, or might have made a note about it, but I'm surprised that neither of you pointed out that weird slapping exchange between Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan, which ended with Liv Morgan selling a punch before Deville even threw it.
I must have blinked and missed it.
I think I saw it. I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, so they did it. They had some section where Liv Morgan and Deville squared off, and they were delivering right hands to one another. This is quite early on in the match, and Morgan's strikes didn't look like they were. They didn't look authentic.
Yeah, there was. I did have a note of that.
Whereas Deville actually looked like she was going for it, as you would expect, or the way they normally do.
Yeah.
Morgan's strikes just didn't look like they were landing, and then she full-on proper slapped Deville in the face, like proper full pelt, and Deville went down, and was shaking her head out and everything, and people were like, "Ooh," and even the commentators picked up on it as well. And I was like, okay, well, either Deville's just really selling that, or Morgan literally has just slapped the taste out of her mouth. And immediately afterwards, Deville got straight back up, and she went to go and punch Morgan, and Morgan fell flat on her back before Deville even connected.
Dodging
and
her
it
seat,
just
I guess.
looked bad. It didn't look good. Again, to reiterate what I said last time we spoke, Morgan and Logan should still be in NXT. Definitely. They're not at the same caliber as everybody else. I totally forgot about that stunner thing you were just talking about, but if I went back and watched the whole thing again and focused entirely on them, that would probably be the one thing I'd say was good about their performance. Yeah. I thought Deville and Rose did very well, considering, again, they started and they finished.
Yeah.
They were consistent all the way through. I'm pretty sure Deville hit a pretty sick spear in the middle of that match.
She did.
I remember going, ooh. And you and I, Toby, have talked about how much I'm just like, oh God, will people stop doing the spear? But yeah, no, that
spear should not be a finishing move. It should be a setup for a finishing move.
Yeah.
But that,
and that's what it looked like. It looked like
that just came out of nowhere. It was literally like boom, and like whoa. I'm glad I was not on the receiving end of that, because that looked like whoever it was even taking it wasn't even ready.
That looked like the spear that Reigns should be giving.
That was like a proper Goldberg sort of spear. Yeah. So I did very much enjoy that. As soon as Nia Jax went through the wall of the pod, I was like, okay, that's my prediction from last time, blown out of the water. They're not winning this now.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I was like, they're going to go out now, next. I loved the double pin by the Iconics. I'm glad they actually got an elimination.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, though, and again, I'm not surprised, because we talked about this last time about how they were the smush team.
Yeah.
What the fuck did Carmella and Naomi do in that match?
Basically nothing, I don't think.
I'm sure Naomi hit her split-legged moonsault on somebody, and then their partner broke it up. And that was the only move I remember between the two of them, apart from when it was Naomi who took the pin, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And they were first out.
Now, there was some weird chanting going on when they got in the ring and when they were actually wrestling. I couldn't hear what it was. Could anybody else make it out? I couldn't tell if the crowd were giving Carmella shit about the whole Graves thing.
Possibly. I didn't hear it, I must admit.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it, but I wasn't listening for it, if I'm honest. Don't know why I wasn't listening for it.
And do you think that's why they went out first?
Potentially.
But bearing in mind, a lot of people were just were like, oh yeah, they went out first because, of that whole police incident with Naomi and her husband. Fine. Why the fucking Usos win the tag titles?
Then why didn't they penalise the Usos in any way, shape, or form? Checklist: get arrested, give abuse to a police officer, win the tag team titles. One of those things is not like the others.
Yes, it did seem strange, but maybe that's because the storyline is they don't want to deviate from that storyline.
Yeah, I guess. So
the Usos could kill a man.
Yeah.
They'd still become the tag champions.
I guess it's just because they're the Smush team. They're one of the logical choices to go out first. They were never going to go the distance, whatever had happened.
No.
Then it made sense for the Iconics to go out next because they are the comedy pair. And then it was Jackson Tamina, wasn't it?
Then it was Morgan and Logan.
Oh, right, okay. Did it say who eliminated them?
I didn't note it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember that either now. But all in all, Boss and Hug are our inaugural women's tag team champions.
Yep.
And this hasn't been announced officially yet. I only know it because I know about the NXT tapings that occurred this week for next week and the rest of the month, that Sasha and Bayley do appear. Oh, spoiler alert! Sasha and Bayley do appear on NXT in next coming weeks to announce that they're not just defending the tag team titles on the main roster; they will also defend them in NXT.
Okay, that's
or against NXT talent.
Cool.
That makes sense because it's the main roster the main women's roster is very shallow. So yeah, going to all the brands, that makes sense.
That's a smart move.
I don't think it's shallow. Well, the thing is that if you're sitting there going, okay, well, you had 6 teams in that match, and one of them was a smush team, you forget that there were other talent that are still on the roster who were put into teams that didn't qualify for the chamber.
Yeah, fair.
Effectively, it's not too much of a stretch to say Alexa Bliss and Mickie James can be a tag team.
Yeah, I mean they've worked together a lot, so yeah, I could see that.
They could pair Alicia Fox with somebody.
I wish they wouldn't.
Why?
Dana Brooke, well, because they're there.
I wish they'd pair
What's
her
the
with
point of
bin.
paying them if you're not going to use them?
Why
Stop paying her and put her in the bin.
Vince,
What
stop paying her.
What is the point of having Kurt Hawkins under contract to lose every week?
Because someone's got to lose, I guess. And it's
But you've got plenty of people to lose every week. You don't need to specifically hire him to come back and lose all the time. There's no point. It's just a complete waste of a paycheck.
yeah.
You might just go away. Go away. Go away.
The annoying thing is, I think he can actually... He had potential a few years ago.
yeah.
He can wrestle. And it's like, he's just another one of the people who is at the bottom of the card who, I could be being realistic, should be at the top of the mid-card.
They all can wrestle. They can all, if they can be given
Yeah.
a chance.
I mean, if
Bo
they're in-
Dallas was good enough to be the NXT champion.
Yep.
What's
Yeah.
he done on the main roster apart from
I
being the B team?
forgot he existed.
Exactly. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
weird thing. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're paying so much focus to his losing streak. I reckon he's probably going to win the Andre Battle Royal at Mania. I know that's a weird wild card prediction. But
Maybe, but who
then what?
even
Then
when
what
he
they do
won,
with it?
you'd
I
be
don't know.
like, okay, who cares?
He's lost
Yeah,
to everyone
I know.
on the fucking roster.
I
Who
know.
does he then win
But
to?
I have this sneaking suspicion that that's what they're building towards.
He'd have to have any significance or any decent crowd reaction at the time. He would have to beat someone that everybody absolutely despises. Like when the Brooklyn Brawler beat Triple H one week.
Yeah,
Brooklyn Brawler, career jobber, right?
yeah.
And he beat Triple H in a random one-on-one match on Raw or SmackDown one year because I think it was Chris Jericho or someone interfered.
Yeah.
And the crowd went ballistic because Triple H was beaten by a jobber. And it didn't get to... It wasn't reverse the decision or anything like that. Triple H lost to the career jobber and everyone loved it. If Kurt Hawkins just beat, like, Bobby Lashley one week, you're just like... Should have treated that as my piss break.
Yeah.
If he beat, like, literally the most hated person on the roster, then it would have an impact.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be, well done, Kurt Hawkins. It would
No.
be, ha-ha, the guy you just beat.
Yeah, true.
You wouldn't then give a fuck about Kurt Hawkins afterwards. So what is the point?
Don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Now, last time we talked about the Women's Chamber, we talked about the fact that we all thought that it would be better for Boss and Hug to get their big win of the
At
titles
Mania.
at Mania, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I didn't get that. Do you think that was a mistake?
I do. I think it was a mistake to not have the inaugural champions at Mania to begin with, because they could have combined the both by just having it end at Mania. Have like a 6-team women's ladder match at Mania, for fuck's sake, for those tag team titles, and then have the fucking amazing stage, good decent ladder match that I know they could put on. Okay, I know most of the teams could put on. Just slight backtrack there, but then you've got that big WrestleMania moment of the Boss and Hug Connection winning it there.
I honestly think, personally, the Chamber was a better decision. I wouldn't want to watch a ladder match with 12 people in it.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of people.
Or maybe not 6 teams, maybe fewer, but
Well, yeah, okay. If you want to change the lineup,
yeah, it doesn't have to be 6 teams, but
it
like
should be 2.
yeah, 2 teams, 3 teams, 4
Drop
teams.
Carmella,
whatever.
Naomi, and Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan.
Yeah,
So you'd have the Boss and Hug and the Iconics then.
And Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Nia Jax Tamina.
So you did, okay, sorry. So
Yeah.
four teams in a
Yeah.
ladder match. Okay. But bear in mind, they also had the fact that Sasha Banks' shoulder was hurt. And that's not a bullshit fake injury. She actually hurt her arm. Mm-hmm. So they probably wouldn't want her falling off of a ladder. Because then, she would have probably injured it even worse.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, they'd have more time to maybe get that fixed up between now and Mania, but...
depending on how severe it was.
Yeah, true.
Why risk it? Okay, you might get a sprain or something, that'll be only a couple of weeks, but at the same time, you could just completely dislocate your shoulder or break your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You end up doing a Finn Balor and blow your arm out on the fucking match and have to give it up the following night.
Exactly.
That'd be bullshit.
I enjoyed this chamber match. I didn't think it was as good as the women's one last time, but again, that's because I think that last time it was very even talent. You had Deville and Rose in it last time, who were the weaker links, but Rose went out immediately, and I'm pretty sure Deville went out pretty quickly.
I think so.
And then you were left with Banks, Sasha, Bliss, and Mickie James.
Yeah.
And again, like we were saying last time, any combination of those four could have a great match with each other.
Definitely, yeah.
Whereas this time round, you had Iconics doing comedy shit, and as I said, the Riots, who I don't think even are good enough to be on the main roster anyway. It was enjoyable, but I don't think it was as good as the previous one.
No, I'd agree.
And maybe it's because there were more people and it was a bit of a shots. But otherwise, thumbs up. But the original one was better still.
Yeah,
I agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just while we're on those, last time I definitely got confused with which way round the Riot Squad 2 and Deville and Rose were, and I think I made some sort of comment, and I was like, fucking like Deville and Rose are like the shit version of the other two. Definitely meant it the other way around. Just want to clarify that now. I definitely meant it the other way around.
So just to clarify, you mean that Deville, Fire and Desire are the superior team to the Riot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I said that the other way around last time, and I remember the look you gave me, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I listened back to it afterwards and went, I got that the wrong way around, didn't I? So, yes. Anyway, moving on to the next match.
Which was McMiz, or the Besties, versus the Super Usos.
the left and right Usos. Yeah.
Who surprisingly didn't just do super kicks the whole way through.
Yeah, they put on a better match than I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the whole thing. Decent performance from both Miz and Shane. That leap of faith was pretty sick.
Yep.
He nailed that one, spot on. If you had like 4 judges on like a diving contest or Strictly or whatever, 10. Yeah. There was no way in hell he was going to hit 2 coast to coast though, so I don't know why they even bothered teasing that.
Yeah, he did not look like he was ready for that second one.
Yeah. What did he do to counter it? Did he super kick him?
I think it was a knee strike, a jumping knee strike.
Okay. Ending, I was a little bit. You've just been hit with a finisher that's supposed to be the sort of thing that's supposed to leave you comatose, and just because Miz has decided to do a really lackluster pin that you can counter, that's the ending. You got hit with the skull crushing finale.
Twin power, mate.
You
Twin
should be having Tweety birds going around your head in this second. You shouldn't
A couple of years ago, that was one of the most protected finishes on the roster.
You shouldn't have the wherewithal to be countering a pin attempt right now.
Yeah.
So that was my only. To be fair, that's the only criticism I had of the match, and that's probably an Usos match I've enjoyed the most in the last year.
Yeah.
And it's funny to say that when you consider that it's a smush team they were wrestling against. But that just, to me, is credit to how good The Miz and Shane McMahon are. So I enjoyed it. It was interesting when they were like, if the Usos win the tag titles, then they'll be one of the only teams to have been the tag champions 6 times.
Yeah.
What was it? The Outlaws, Hardys,
all Hall of Fame teams.
Edge and Christian.
Yeah. Dudleys.
No, it wasn't the
it not
Dudleys.
Dudleys? Oh, okay.
It wasn't the Dudleys. It was someone else.
I thought they mentioned the Dudleys, but...
I'm sure it was a different team they said had been the tag champions 6 times. I can't for the life of me think who it is. But I was expecting it to be the Dudleys, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
That's odd.
So that means that if the Usos do decide to stay in WWE, that they could potentially become tag team record holders if they win it a 7th time.
Interesting.
Well, there are more people like Kofi and Edge and other people who've won the title like
Individually.
10, 15 times. That's not all in the same team.
Yeah.
No.
Like Kane has won it with multiple teams and
Yeah.
Yeah.
X-Pac and
Yeah.
Hurricane and Undertaker and
Daniel
so on and so
Bryan
forth.
and-
And Daniel Bryan,
Van Damme and-
So, yeah, Usos could potentially become record title holders.
And along with that as well, they have actually set a record that
Was it the longest running duration of a tag team?
yeah, in one like stint of being that tag team
Without ever splitting up or anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
longest running tag team in WWE history.
Wow. So
Not
does,
like of the modern era or anything. It was in the WWE
so does
history.
I was going to say, does since birth count for them? Or is that why
Well, they
have the
weren't in
record?
WWE since birth.
Okay.
Unless you consider the fact that they were floating around in Rikishi's testicles while he worked for them.
Yeah.
As,
Damn.
as the Sultan or whatever gimmick he was under at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right, boys and girls. Rikishi was not always Rikishi.
Do you have any comments on the match, Tove?
I really enjoyed it. We've spoken about the Super Kick Brothers many times, and basically agreed that.
Do either of you know what the fuck day one-ish is supposed to mean?
That was going to be one of my comments. I have no fucking clue. They've never explained it.
I think I have a rough idea of what it is.
Okay.
Because of a promo they did on SmackDown the week before Chamber.
Right.
In that promo, they said, we've been...
Well, this year? Because day one-ish has been going on for fucking ages.
No, yeah, this is what I mean.
Oh, sorry, right, okay.
Yeah, they did a promo before Chamber on SmackDown where they said to Shane and Miz, we've been the best since day one-ish. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make full sense, but I'm getting closer to an answer.
Uso Penitentiary?
Yeah, no, I got nothing on that.
Yeah,
one.
I gotta say, I don't get that either.
I presume that's a shed in one of their gardens or something.
Yeah, it's welcome to the Uso Penitentiary! And I'm just like, what? What? What the hell is that supposed to mean?
At least Mark Henry's Hall of Pain came off the back of Hall of Fame.
I think the... I think
Well, that
when
started before he was a Hall of Famer.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I know, but like...
He'd been put in other Hall of Fames.
I think
outside
the Uso Penitentiary thing kind of evolved from... They had their little feud with the New Day, and they basically... They flattened every team on the roster. And they were saying that they had the division on lockdown. This is the Uso Penitentiary.
Yeah, I think I do, yeah.
I think that's where that came from.
Just to, you've just reminded me, when you mentioned New Day, and you watched the Cruiserweight Championship match, right?
No, I didn't.
Did you watch it?
I watched Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah,
Were you not pissed off that they decided to have an interview with Xavier and Big E in the middle of the match?
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's ridiculous.
What the hell?
I had a note on this and I forgot about it. Yes, 100% fucked off with that. Not only was this a shit interview, but they spent the entire time taking the piss like Kofi was getting laid in the next room.
I didn't listen to it.
That was basically what they were doing. They kept taking the piss, like something to do with, you know, he wrestled for an hour on Tuesday, whatever it was. Do you think he's got what it takes to go the distance? And they were like, well, we know he's not got a problem with his longevity. And it was just like, and they're both just taking the piss, continuous like innuendos like that. And they were just like, he's busy at the moment, ha. And it's like,
Couldn't have waited till after the match.
why during the match for this shit?
Yeah, I mean they did that last year at WrestleMania with the Cruiserweight tournament final with the Ronda Rousey package. They just cut to and destroyed all of the momentum for the Cruiserweight title match.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
It's bad enough when there are advert breaks in the middle of matches,
Yeah.
but don't be putting interview segments in them.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
What a waste. Like, you've got this whole fucking hour of pre-show. Use more of it. Nobody wants to see the panel of bullshit people.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to have an interview spot, put it in there somewhere. We're watching a match.
I don't know why we even bother with these pre-shows.
No.
I'd rather have a longer pay-per-view.
100%.
Well,
yeah.
not when it's WrestleMania, it's 7 hours anyway.
Yeah.
But I would rather have like a match that's 5 minutes be given 10 minutes or 15 minutes and not have 5 minutes of Sam Roberts and Beth Phoenix and Booker T and the King going, oh, this is who I think I'm going to win in this predetermined bullshit sport.
Yeah.
No, just shut up.
Yeah, we don't need to know. Yeah.
Why? Because it is, even with just an hour, it was 10 minutes of wrestling, 50 minutes of talk.
Yeah.
And I could do without the 50 minutes of talk.
Yeah.
Maybe do the promos, like the Charlotte Flair Riot Squad bit and the Kevin Owens thing. I don't need to listen to these other Muppets give me opinions on shit that Vince McMahon has decided the outcome on.
Yeah, and probably Vince McMahon has decided what their opinion is going to be.
Oh, yeah, too.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway.
Next match was
Can I give my opinions on the SmackDown tag match?
I
Oh,
suppose.
sorry, I didn't realise you hadn't done that.
If you have to.
My bad.
So I must admit I wasn't particularly into the match. I must admit that the video package they put it together was pretty at the beginning was pretty good. It felt that they pulled together what was a hastily built feud quite well and presented it quite well. But I was really not dragged into this match. I don't know what it was particularly. I found myself making some really snarky comments. Like the Maurice pregnancy announcement at the beginning
Forgot about
cheapened
that.
the fuck to me. Like, good for them. And the "You Still Got It" chant from the crowd after that was hilarious.
That
I've
was
got to
funny.
admit that was quite funny. But I didn't care about the match particularly.
You got a good point mentioning the whole Maurice thing, because when they announced that and he was like, I'm dedicating this match to my unborn child, I was like, I bet he's going to fucking lose.
Yeah, you're losing now, yeah.
I honestly thought, well, only because I thought that this would go on, the title reign would go on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I'll make the same point in a minute when we talk about another title change that happened this week, right? When the new champions lose it to the very first challengers. And it's like, what was the point in giving them the belt in the first place then? Right. I don't know what the viewership is like for Ms. and Mrs., but I don't give a shite about his fucking family.
No, likewise.
I do not care that his... I'm sick and tired. I said, when we were talking last week, I was like, let's not have anything to do with Maurice, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? He came out and he was like, yeah, here, me and Shane dedicate this to my dad. Oh, and my wife and my daughter. Oh, and here's my wife. And I was like, oh god. Yeah. And that sucked energy out of it straight away for me as soon as he was like, oh yeah, and here's my wife. Oh, and by the way, I'm having another kid. Yeah, great, Miz. I love the fact that you're happy, your marriage is going great, you're expanding your family. But that's just common courtesy. Kudos to you for being on cloud 9 and enjoying your life.
And sure, like
here's the news bulletin. Outside of your extended family and your close personal friends and sad acts who've got nothing better to do but pay attention, no one gives a shit what goes on in your life outside of the fucking ring. Yeah? Pick up on that. Don't care.
Yep.
Do not care.
Yep.
Get in the fucking ring and fucking wrestle. Don't care how many children you're having. Don't care how many kids any other wrestler's having. I sure as fuck don't care how many kids the Miz is having.
Yep.
I do not need 30 seconds, or I don't even need 2 seconds of Maurice. Ever. Under any circumstances. And sure as fuck don't need her to come out and go, I'm having another baby. Don't care!
Yeah.
Apparently, so is Brie Bella. Don't care about that either.
Oh, God. Hopefully that keeps her off TV more.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the next thing I had? Oh, when they talked about them winning the next title and putting them at the level of the Hall of Fame teams, I just thought to myself, oh god, I'm not ready to hear them in the same sentence. Like, they're a good team, but they're not in the same league as the Revival. It's criminal they had so much success. If only we had a penitentiary to put them in.
Turns out we do.
Yeah. What
Like I said, it's a shed.
I also wondered to myself, do all Samoan wrestlers come with the Samoan drop from birth? Is there a way we can remove
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. Apparently in WWE, and I can't believe I didn't make this comment last time because I think this to myself all the time. Apparently, it is the fucking law for somebody with Samoan heritage.
Yeah.
You must do the Samoan drop.
Yes. That's what I thought to myself. And the Samoan headbutt.
It's like surely it's in the interview process or something.
Yeah. Can you do a Samoan
Or
drop?
they're at the performance center. Where are you from again? Oh, I'm Samoan. But you didn't do a Samoan drop. What? No.
Does Samoa
well, that's
Joe...
that's a negative mark against you.
Does Samoa Joe
dear.
do a Samoan drop?
No.
Curious. Interesting. So he's found out.
And
how
that's
to
why
remove
he's
it.
not won a title yet.
There we
Yes,
are.
there you go.
Yeah, we got
That's
that.
why he is underutilized on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Maybe he's found the way to remove it. And Joe, if you're listening, please let me know.
Oh,
You're not,
but
but-
here, no, there's a more inherent problem.
Yeah.
Well, not specifically with Samoa Joe, because it applies to Shayna Baszler as well. Giving a fancy name to a sleeper hold and trying to make out that it's a better submission than a bog standard sleeper hold.
Yeah.
That's my really only negative thing towards both of those talents. I enjoy Shayna Baszler in NXT. Love Samoa Joe. Don't give him a fucking sleeper as the finisher.
Well,
I know you
he's
don't want to give him the muscle buster anymore because Tyson Kidd took it wrong and got crippled or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But you're not a sleeper. You know, he's
a
the
boring
Samoan
finish.
submission machine.
Yeah.
And there's a million submissions you could choose.
Yeah.
And
Why
he's
that
chosen the bog standard one.
Yep.
That's only like a couple of points above Chris Masters and the Master Lock, which is just a fucking full Nelson.
Yeah.
We're going to have somebody who does a fucking hammerlock and that's their finisher.
Probably.
And people are going to tap out to a hammerlock. That's the sort of level that having a
Yeah.
sleeper as your finisher is. And giving two different wrestlers the same thing under a different name and making out their different moves. It's just
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
seriously, it's a sleeper.
Yeah.
Put it to bed.
If anybody else did that, you'd be like, this is a rest hold.
Yeah.
When these two do it, it's a finisher.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's the thing I don't like about Samoa Joe's matches. That's the thing that turns me away from liking Samoa Joe any more than I currently do. Because, like, you get into things, they're in a sleep hold, I'm done, I'm bored. Like, it completely switches me off because I think it's boring. And I see it in every... Because it's his finisher, you see it in every match he's in. And he's just like, I'm just bored of it. I'm just bored of it. Go, like...
It's as bad as having a punch,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I agree.
Big Show, Roman, Lacey Evans.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you
Not
just
great.
do that immediately? If you're Mr. Knockout, why would you not just do that straight away and win every match in 5 seconds?
You've got to wind it up. It's got to take all that time
Yeah,
for
you
that
gotta-
fist to get behind your head so you can swing it.
Yeah, Roman's got to cock that fist. He's got to, have enough time
Yeah,
to
I
cock
mean-
it.
We got into a whinge fest. Right,
Sorry.
Intercontinental
Yes.
handicap match. Thoughts on that? Finn Balor versus the almighty Bobby Lashley and the Hat Man, Leo Rush.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it was a Bobby Lashley match.
I was already underwhelmed before it started.
This is not the reaction I was expecting.
I like Finn Balor. You know, I
Yeah,
like
I
Finn
love Finn
Balor. I'm
Balor.
a Balor fan.
Yeah, no, I was expecting the two of you to go, he's got a title for the first time in fucking ages, but you just want to whinge about Lashley instead.
I will,
Put it this way.
I will comment
It's-
on that.
I dislike Lashley that much more than I'm happy Balor won a title.
Wow.
And
you go.
I'm really happy that Balor won a title, so that shows you
Oh,
how much
yeah.
I dislike
Yeah,
Lashley.
I was very happy that Balor won,
Yeah.
and I was just the whole time I was just like, "Fuck off, Lashley! Just fuck off."
As soon as they had the interview segment at the beginning, I was like, oh, Balor's winning.
Yeah.
Balor is winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to pin Rush.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And
Now,
of course,
apparently, that's because Leo Rush, well, not apparently, this has just been suggested according to dirt sheets, Leo Rush has not done anything to endear himself to his colleagues on the Raw roster.
Okay.
oh, how sad.
Now, this is the clown who stupidly decided to take a pop shot at Emma for being
Yes.
released
Yeah.
after
Was
a
that
week.
Leo Rush?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was Leo Rush.
Fuck. Bellend.
He is a
Yeah,
band.
apparently he hasn't actually learned from that and has continued to rub everyone up the wrong way, and nobody really wants to have to put up with Leo Rush. And it was
I
booked.
actually
It was
feel-
booked for him to take the pin. As a
More
result of that,
punishment.
for me, I'm just like, well, until somebody who works in the writing team says, yeah, that's why we did it, I'm more inclined to believe it was like, we
just
want to
like-
take the belt off of Lashley, but we don't want Lashley to take the pin.
Yeah, they want to keep him looking strong.
Yeah,
I can see that, yeah.
exactly.
Make it look strong.
Yeah. Bring him strong. Yeah.
Especially if he's going to come out later in the match to help somebody else win a no DQ thing.
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, as soon as okay, you're doing an interview segment where you're hyping up the fact that Lashley could lose the title without losing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they teased that far too hard. That they made it clear that they almost like hung a fucking lampshade on it and went, "This is going to happen, guys. Look, guys, this is going to happen. Be surprised."
And even before it started, you were sitting there going, right, so we're going to have Lashley basically destroy Balor.
Yeah.
And then Rush is going to tag in for no fucking reason, and then all of a sudden Balor's going to win, and that's exactly what happened.
They do a dry run of that exact same match on Raw a couple of weeks ago, where Leo got himself tagged in and then got destroyed and pinned?
I honestly can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they did that same match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So, can I do my comments?
I've got one comment, and then I'll let you guys rip it.
I don't have anything else left to say. So, yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
There was the one thing I noticed which made me laugh, but again, this is actually a diss on a ref, actually. Bobby tagged in.
The ref got right in the way, didn't he, at one point?
And the ref was like stopping him, and he looked at him, and he went, "No, I tagged in," and the ref went, "Oh, okay, carry on." And I was like,
wasn't that right after he got right in the referee got right in the way? He was kind of like sandwiched between them because he was stood in the wrong place, and the tag was made in that moment, and then he was suddenly like, "Hey, you didn't tag," and it was like,
and he went, "No, I tagged in."
And it was
went,
kind of
okay.
like, "Dude, you fuck it up right now.
Yeah,
just don't try and play this shit. You fucked up. We did what we were supposed to be doing. Don't try and ham it up now to make it look like that you've done everything right because you didn't."
Yeah.
I thought it was good, mainly for the result. Even though I could have seen it a mile off.
Yeah.
In fact, I could have told you what the result was without watching it after the promo. I was quite happy. I was like, finally, you're doing something with Balor. I'd rather watch the Intercontinental title on Balor than I would on Lashley.
100%.
Because he seems like the kind of guy who's going to turn around and say, "I'm going to take challenges from all comers, and I'm going to make the Intercontinental title relevant again." I know that's Miz's shtick, and it was Seth Rollins' shtick, and it was John Cena's shtick. But it's better.
Yeah, it's a torch that Balor can carry
because it's makes the title look relevant.
Yeah.
When they put it on a heel, the same with the US title when it was Nakamura. It was just like, no, don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. I'm not going to even talk about the significance of the title, and the head office isn't even going to fucking book me.
Yeah.
Whereas when they put it on a face,
they get booked.
They seemingly seem to give a shit.
Yeah.
Now, granted, US title hasn't been seen since R-Truth won it, but the IC title at least has.
There was an advert where some dude was buying.
Yes, it was actually R-Truth. Yeah.
And he picks up R-Truth and puts him in his trolley and wheels him off.
So that's why we didn't get a US title defense this month.
Yeah, he was
because
busy waiting
he
in
was
Walmart.
doing commercials.
Yeah, I don't even think it was a commercial. I genuinely think it was something that R-Truth filmed with a mate. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I digress.
Wonderful.
So my
Mr.
comments on the
Bartlett.
match. Leo Rush throughout looked like he was desperate for Daddy Lashley's approval. It's like the dad that he's estranged from, that he desperately wants to like him. Again, for fuck's sake, WWE, you had the champions out first. Like that. We discussed this before. That's really fucking stupid. It really annoys me.
No. It's not the champions out first. It was Mania having the champions come out second in triple threat matches, is what we said last time.
Yeah.
So you think the champion should always come out last, do you?
I've always felt that. Yeah, I've always felt that that's how wrestling's supposed to be.
I've always felt that as well. And then they have, as you pointed out last time, they have had someone say it's the champion's prerogative to decide when they come out.
Yeah.
When they'd have champions come out first when they're wrestling Taker, it made no sense. It was like, why would you stand there? And when they make out that the entrance eats away at the psyche of his opponent, why would you ever choose to come out? Why would Edge choose to come out first at Mania 24 when he's facing Taker, and the entrance has that effect on people?
Yeah.
Unless it's doing the whole, I'm not afraid of the Undertaker. Yeah, whatever. It's just like, come out last.
Yeah.
You're the most important person. The most important person should come out last.
Yeah.
Right? Not first. It's like which pay-per-view was it last year or the year before where they had the title match on first? It was Ambrose, Styles, and Cena, and that was the opening match. Was the WWE title match?
I can't remember.
I remember.
And I'm sure they did it because the pay-per-view clash was something else, and they purposely did that to get more
wanted
viewers.
to drag people in. Yeah.
But it was like, okay, you'll have more viewers for the first half hour of your pay-per-view, and then
people will piss off when they've got all the things they want to see. Yeah. Yeah. All in all, I didn't think it was a bad match at all. It wasn't anything special, thanks to Bobby Lashley. But extremely happy to see Balor get a title. It's about fucking time. You know, they should have done this ages ago. Yeah. And after the match, I had a Leo's dead, pushes F to pay respects. That was the extent of my notes for this match, to be honest.
I was like, I have nothing else to say.
No, I'm good.
Again, I think it's good for Balor to be the champion. I just hope that he gets the chance to shine with it.
Yeah, give him some good opponents.
He should be given the chance to shine anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that he brings some significance back to that title.
Yeah.
Okay. The Raw Women's title. Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott.
The blink and you'll miss it match.
Indeed. I certainly did. I was writing the notes from that match and I looked up and it was over. It was a pointless fucking thing. I don't like squash matches. I'm not a big fan of squash matches with an asterisk next to it for the Taker Cena one at Mania.
That was just fun.
That was just, just good fun.
Perfection.
Yeah. Yes, that was squash done well by two people who know how to do matches. So yeah.
Yeah, but the note I've got here is massive waste of time.
Yeah.
Nick?
So my notes, before obviously when Charlotte came out, hey, Charlotte does point at the WrestleMania sign. Who knew?
Yep.
I had a further comment from a follow-on from before. I'm not sure Ronda should do a Samoan drop. Is that cultural appropriation? And then some comments on the segment after that. I'll wait until we talk about that. I quite enjoy it. Like, the match was pointless.
There's not much to say about the match. Let's go straight to the fucking ending.
Yeah.
I'm going to summarise all of it.
Please do.
From the moment Charlotte got in the ring to do the starting interview, through the match, through the segment that followed. Every second of that was pure dog shit.
Yes, agreed.
Fucking terrible.
Horrendous
in every aspect of it. Charlotte Flair came out and did an interview where she hammed up the fact that she was a heel and banged on about how Becky was desperate for the adulation of the fans and Charlotte basically just didn't care either way. Which makes absolutely no sense because when they want to do big media appearances and stuff, the first bird they go to for that is Charlotte fucking Flair.
Yeah.
And that's just contradictory.
Yeah, it doesn't really... Yeah. Stupid.
Secondly, the only villainous thing throughout this entire storyline since Becky did her turn to become the man, the only villainous heel thing that Charlotte Flair has done was get herself disqualified against Ronda Rousey and then beat the crap out of her afterwards. In terms of the Becky Lynch storyline, Charlotte Flair is actually the victim there.
Yep.
She got interjected into a title match to make it a triple threat, and she won. Her best friend, who was also in that match, and granted that was who she pinned, stabbed her in the back and beat the fuck out of her. Charlotte Flair is the victim there.
Yes.
They then had a match afterwards where Charlotte had the title won and Lynch got herself disqualified to retain the title. Charlotte Flair is the victim there. Last women's standing match. Can't argue that. Charlotte just lost. Fair enough. Then they had the Survivor Series thing where, yes, Charlotte was the heel. But immediately following that, we went back to Becky Lynch attacking her. I can't remember the time frame, but they had that segment where Charlotte Flair turned up at the Performance Center to talk to the Mae Young recruits, or the Mae Young lot, and Becky Lynch attacked her there. Charlotte Flair is the victim. Then they had the triple threat match with Asuka. And Lynch and Charlotte are fighting over the title at the last minute, and Rousey pushes them both off the ladder so that Asuka can win. They're both the victim there.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair is in the Royal Rumble match. She makes it all the way to the end, and she's eliminated by a talent who should not have been in the match in the first place. Charlotte Flair is the victim there. Yep. So for her to come out and do a heel promo makes no fucking sense. Not that heel promo, anyway. If you want to do if Charlotte Flair is going to do heel promos now, she should be doing heel promos the same way that Daniel Bryan is doing heel promos. Mm-hmm. Where Daniel Bryan is coming out going, oh yeah, you're all fickle, you chop and change your minds, you're poisoning the earth. You, the audience, you are the problem, you suck, the way you think and the way you live your lives is stupid.
Yeah.
Now, in the last 6 months, Charlotte Flair has had boo the woo thrown at her because they don't like the booking decisions and they'd rather have Becky Lynch in her spotlight. People want to throw the fact that she's only in the position she's in because of her father, and people chant she deserves it when she's getting beaten black and blue with a bloody weapon. She has got every justification to come out in a promo and go, you know what, you lot can go fuck yourselves. Because I come out here and bust my ass for you people, and you chant that I deserve to have the shit kicked out of me with a weapon when doing what I'm paid to do, which is win, and you're giving me this shit anyway? Fuck you. Obviously, she's not going to say that. But along those lines, she's still going to get the same reaction, and it would make sense.
Yep.
But to come out and turn around and go, oh yeah, Becky just like loves your respect, I just don't care what you think either way, doesn't make sense. Under other circumstances, it would work. But under the circumstances, the way this storyline has panned out, that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think that's the way they should do it. My next point is, and I know last time we all got together I did not have anything positive to say about Ruby Riott, but nobody deserves to have a squash match on pay-per-view.
No, that's not
100%.
That's not nice,
that should have been a match. Especially as, on Raw, the night afterwards, they gave her the proper match.
Yeah, that's really not fair.
And it wasn't terrible.
I didn't see it, so I can only go by your opinion there.
I mean,
personal opinion, it wasn't terrible.
But it was the main event, wasn't it? So it must have gone on for at least 10 minutes or so, right?
A little bit longer, yeah.
So it was a proper match.
Yep.
So why give her 2 minutes on the pay-per-view? That should have been the other way around. Get squashed on Raw.
Definitely, yeah.
Have the proper match on the pay-per-view.
Yep. Agreed.
Ruby Riott, nobody, especially in this day and age, nobody should be having a squash match on pay-per-view.
No. I mean, there was so much more they could have done with like the Riot Squad. As much as I don't particularly like that entity, there's so much more they could have done with the Riot Squad to extend that match out, to make it look like she was a credible challenger. She deserved that much at least.
I was the same as you. They had that bit where she got out of the ring after having been judo thrown a couple of times, and I looked away to look at my phone for something, and as I look up, the bell's being rung and Rounda's having her hand raised, and I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing
I
is a fucking
actually
shambles.
rewound it and watched it again to find out what the hell just happened, and I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was dumb as hell.
And the thing is, then you've then got Charlotte getting in the ring,
Fair enough.
and you go, okay, yep, fine, you know. And then Becky appears and batters them both with the fucking crutches.
Mm.
But it wasn't just that. It's the fact that she walked all the way down to ringside and got in the ring. Right?
She's suspended.
Exactly. And then they're going, oh, well, she's bought a ticket. Yeah, that means you get to sit in the audience.
Yeah.
You don't get to hop the barrier. If she tried to hop the barrier, then the security should be trying to stop her because she's been suspended. And then she can batter security with the crutch if she wants.
Yeah, that could have been
But
a good angle.
somebody, I've seen loads of people saying this, somebody should have tried to stop her from getting in the ring.
I mean, John Cena did it at Mania. John Cena, won't someone stop that poor fan from attacking The Undertaker?
It's alright, Undertaker
He wasn't
dealt
suspended.
No.
And that's not. I know what you're saying, but that's not the same
No,
thing.
I know. I definitely know, yeah. They could have had, some of the women's locker room come to separate them or anything to make it look
should have
credible.
been the security guards,
Yeah.
who you know damn well are there,
Yeah.
should have prevented her from getting in the ring.
Yeah.
Nobody even attempted it. And then she got in, and then and this is it, like, loads of people are going on about, they're still saying she's the new Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley. And people like that are going, oh yeah, she's the new Austin. I'm like, okay. I'm only going to accept that if we're talking about 2001 Cowardly Heel Alliance Austin. Because if we're talking 1996 to 2000 Austin, that's the guy who, he would come out and just beat people up. But more often than not, he would come out in the middle of a match. He'd hit each guy with a stunner.
And then
that'd
fuck
be it.
off.
No, he wouldn't fuck off. That would be it. They would fuck off. And then he'd do his promo with Vince or whoever.
Right.
And the storyline would carry on. He'd come in, he'd hit a stunner. If there was a bunch of heels in the ring, he might come out and he might give them a chair shot each. Becky Lynch got in the ring on last Sunday and mercilessly battered the crap out of both Charlotte and Ronda Rousey with a crutch for no fucking reason. That's not babyface actions, is it? That's heel actions.
Yeah.
I can understand battering Charlotte. She had absolutely no justification for battering Rousey. Apart from, you said you could beat me on Twitter. That's not a justifiable reason for battering somebody with a crutch. Do you think that would stand up in court if you were being done for assault? No,
there are a few people on Twitter that I would like to batter with a crutch, but that's completely unrelated, so yeah.
Now, Ronda Rousey, I only learned this from hindsight, but at the time, when watching it, I was like, she's not giving any due care and attention to the safety of the people she's doing this to.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the massive gash on the side of Ronda Rousey's head at the end of it.
Yeah.
Now, I have since learned that Ronda Rousey said to Becky Lynch,
do it properly.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just
I heard
smash
that,
the crap out of me with this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that Charlotte Flair said that, but apparently Ronda Rousey did say to her, just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. But there were instances where even the live audience were going, that was bad. That wasn't supposed to happen, sort of way.
Yeah.
And there was 2 or 3 shots that she gave to Rousey. It was just like, Jesus Christ, girl, calm the fuck down, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I've learned that Rousey said, go for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw SmackDown this week, but Charlotte Flair's left arm is bruised to fuck after that. So I'm guessing Charlotte either said the same or just went with it because that's what was happening at the time. But in terms of the character... no, that's not somebody you cheer.
No, not at all. I can imagine Charlotte being like, well, if Ronda says go for it, then I'll fucking go for it me as well.
You and I have said to each other over the last 6 months, like the number of stupid spots that Charlotte Flair took in 2018.
Yeah.
She's continuing that into 19, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
That TLC match was fucking ridiculous. We've said it before, she was involved in every big spot in that match.
Yeah.
On the receiving end, near enough, of every... Not all of them, but she was on the receiving end.
The only one she wasn't really on the receiving end for was the one she speared through the barrier. The barrier didn't go down properly, and she fucking slammed her face into it.
Well, that's still her involved, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still her taking a big fucking hit on it. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was at Mania last year when Asuka suplexed her off the apron. And I was Jim Cornette even said that spot was totally unnecessary. And I remember watching it going, what are you doing, girls?
Yeah.
This match has been absolutely brilliant. It didn't need that spot. And, she was in the last woman standing, and in that TLC. I don't think anybody put themselves in more dangerous positions than Charlotte Flair did last year. Which, again, is what pisses me off when people are just like, she only has this position because of her dad.
No, it's because she's the hardest worker on the women's roster.
Look, you take Ric Flair at his athletic peak back in the day and compare it to Charlotte Flair now, you're still going to say that Charlotte Flair is better. And she's taken the spots that he would have never even dreamed of taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to anybody who says that Charlotte Flair is only in the position she's in because of her dad, fuck you. Maybe to begin with, but not now. She's
definitely earned her place.
She has definitely earned the spot that she's in.
Yeah.
And I would at Mania, you may get a Becky Lynch in your title match. Don't be fucking shocked if Charlotte Flair wins it, because she is definitely Vince's number one choice.
Yeah.
And the booking team's number one choice.
And if
don't
she
be surprised if she finally gets the accolade of most women's champion. Whether it happens at Mania this year or later on, Charlotte Flair is going to end up taking the record of the most women's championship wins, and she will be heralded as the greatest female wrestler in WWE history until somebody ends up winning it 9 times.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
Neither do I. But yes, in terms of everything that happened with the women at Elimination Chamber, terrible. All of it was terrible, in my opinion. I cannot think of anything positive to say about that entire segment. And that is the absolute lowlight of the entire pay-per-view.
100%. It was a... Yeah.
Everything about it was just bad.
Yeah.
And they should never, ever do that again. With anybody.
No. Agreed. Yeah. Fuck it. No. Yeah.
So,
Next match.
move on.
Sure.
The next match was the no disqualification match between the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin, and the monster among men, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I struggled getting into this match to start with because I think I was a bit deflated from the atrocity I'd just seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I totally get that.
So, I'll be honest, I didn't really pay a great deal of attention to this. Give me 2 secs. Come here, little fucking shit.
So you've no notes. Ow! Sorry, you've no notes. Cat just jabbed me in the foot with his claws. That's what the hour was about. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
She's
even have
exactly what
footlock.
he's saying.
Do you have any notes?
Not really. I was just... to be honest, I was just a bit deflated, and I was just...
Because of the
I
women's
think
segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I genuinely phased out for this match, to be honest.
I excessively don't care about this match. I've seen these two against each other far too much, or at least I feel like I have.
Yeah.
This match feels like the scraping of a barrel. And then McIntyre came in, and I had, Braun versus McIntyre. Now that's the match I want to see. Mania, please, Vince. And then, Lashley, just fuck off. Why? And then, why are Lashley and McIntyre teamed up with Corbin exactly? He's not the GM anymore. He's got nothing to give them. They do make an impressive team. I just rather they actually gave it a reason. They made it make sense. They're literally just 3 big guys that like to pick on people. There's no logic to them teaming together. I did like their triple powerbomb through two tables. That was an awesome spot. Like, that's the only highlight of that match for me.
Yeah, I did really like that.
But then the next comment is just still didn't care about this match.
Oh, the only thing I remember is also the triple powerbomb through the 2 tables. I'm going to completely disagree with your analogy of it not making any sense for the other 2 to come out, though.
Okay. Final comment, just so we can go back onto that, was Lacey, this isn't a catwalk. What are you doing? And then that's the end of my notes for that match.
Right.
Yeah, I'll come
So,
to that in a
and
second.
I've read this elsewhere, and I've seen other people say the same thing about. I'm sick and tired of watching Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, and it made no sense for McIntyre and Lashley to come out and help Strowman. Help Corbin. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown, as we mentioned last time. I keep up with what happens, so I've not had to sit through Corbin, Strowman a million times. For me, I've seen it a grand total of twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad for me.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch Crown Jewel. I watched it before I went to the wedding last weekend when I was in the hotel because I had nothing. I was like, what can I watch that I haven't seen? I didn't watch Crown Jewel. Fuck it, I watched Crown Jewel. So that was my first watching of that. The TLC match.
Strowman was still injured, so they...
So it was basically half the Raw roster versus Corbin, and then
Yeah.
Strowman's going to hit...
He didn't even
hit
hit
anything, did he? He
No,
just
he
pinned him.
just got
Right,
squashed,
so that
yeah.
I don't even count that as a match.
Yeah.
No, me neither.
For me personally.
Yeah.
Then it was Royal Rumble, and they didn't interact with each other during that, as far as I remember. And there was this. So for me, having not watched it on Raw every week, it was still very fresh. And I think it's mainly because a lot of people just don't like Baron Corbin. I do.
I
like Baron
don't.
Corbin.
I'm going to be in the camp. I fucking hate Baron Corbin.
I like him. Again, getting bored with the Strowman thing, but I still like him.
Now, in terms of Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, no, Corbin is not the GM anymore, so he can't give them favours or anything like that. But that's not the viewpoint that it comes across to me. For me, if you look at 2018, Braun Strowman destroyed fucking everybody. In WrestleMania, this time last year, or around this time last year, Braun Strowman beat the entire Raw tag division on his own.
Yeah.
And he won Grr.
And then he won the tag team titles alongside a 10-year-old.
Which is hilarious.
And then he won the 50-man Battle Royal at Grr. And he had... apart from Roman Reigns, he had more title shots than anybody else on the roster.
Yep, true.
Right? So, Baron Corbin and... Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. 3 guys who all, obviously, want to be the Universal Champion.
Yeah.
It's bad enough having to try and beat Brock Lesnar one-on-one.
Yeah.
Do I want to have Braun Strowman as well?
Yeah, okay, I can
and
see
as
the
he's the
logic
guy who's
there,
getting the majority of the title shots in Roman Reigns' absence, can you imagine what it would be like if he became the champion? It would be nigh on impossible to beat him.
Yeah.
So, for Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley to turn to each other and go, okay, you're not the GM anymore, so you can't help us out. But it is still in the best interest of all 3 of us to get rid of Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I can see that. That didn't make sense to me at the time, but yeah, now you mention it, I can see that.
I would not be shocked if at Fastlane or even at Mania you end up with Braun Strowman versus the 3 of them at once. Now Strowman will win it, probably, or at least that's how I would do it anyway. But that's how I see this going. It's Braun Strowman versus Corbin, McIntyre and Lashley all in one hit. And it would make sense to do it at Mania because you want to get as many people as possible on the card. Unless you're Vince McMahon and you're like, I don't want to pay that many people. That's why your tag division suffers all the time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Because Vince doesn't want to have to pay 4 people. We can only pay 2.
Yep, true.
And that comes from Bruce Pritchard. So you know it's true because he worked with the guy for 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah. It made perfect sense to me for them to come out. It's not boring for me because I haven't watched it. And this is why I don't watch Raw and SmackDown, because I would get to the pay-per-views and go, why would I care? I've seen it a million times already.
Yeah.
Fair
This
point.
is why I only watch the pay-per-views. So yeah, it was still fresh to me. I'm not going to say that it was the highlight of the night because by its own, if we're ranking best to worst, and we all agreed the women's segment was the worst, second worst was that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, it made the people who would turn around and saying it makes no sense. Don't agree personally, and I've just explained why.
Yep.
You can either change your opinion or not. Down to you.
The only thing I'll add to that is on Raw the following night, McIntyre backstage. I can't remember who he's talking to, but he's basically saying, look, I'm a main eventer. Put me in the main event. I want Seth. In fact, he's talking to Triple H. And he's like, give me Seth. I want Seth tonight.
And he got Dean instead.
And then Ambrose comes in and starts like mocking him and slaps him really fucking big in the face. And then Ambrose walks out and Triple H goes, so you still want Rollins or do you want Ambrose?
I know that's not on our itinerary of things to discuss, but now that you've just mentioned it, I think we should discuss the whole Dean Ambrose leaving thing in a little bit more detail in a minute. But let's finish this.
Yeah, we'll do that after the Elimination Chamber, shall we?
The final match to discuss on the pay-per-view.
One note again before that.
Okay.
The random fucking Lacey Evans.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Her music hits. She walks out. She walks down the bottom of the ramp. Does a little spin. Walks back up the ramp. Fucks off.
I messaged you guys, didn't I? I
Yes.
messaged you too. Because I was watching the replay, because I know you both watched it live.
I didn't watch it live. I watched
I watched it live.
But
on his account.
I watched the replay Monday, and I messaged the 2 of you saying, did they badly edit out Lacey Evans' segment on the pay-per-view? And you were like, no.
Nope.
Even live, that's what happened.
Yep.
She walked out, twirled, and walked back again.
Yeah.
But that happened again.
Happened again on Raw, and she walked through. Heavy Machinery were stood at the top of the ramp having an interview. Her music hits. She walks out, walks through the middle of them, does it again, comes back up the ramp, and then they start doing a stupid strut thing down the ramp, and then strutted back up again, and that was the end of that segment.
So maybe
Apparently,
it
this
is
is their way of pushing Lacey Evans.
what, she's going over the catwalk.
There was word that the original idea for WrestleMania 35 is Asuka Lacey Evans.
What?
I feel a bit sick.
Now the same, and this is coming from Dave Meltzer. right? So
Pinch of
take
salt,
it with a pinch of salt. But apparently that was the original idea, was for Lacey Evans Asuka at 35, and now they're not sure about it.
I can say they better fucking hurry up and
But
start
they
booking
are
that.
still thinking of pushing her.
Okay. That's odd.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Thing is, if you're going to do that, and this goes for any wrestling superstar, male or female, if you're just going to have little pointless things like that, I don't want to see them.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you only mentioned the pay-per-view on Raw, right?
yep,
Well, she came out during Asuka's match against Mandy Rose on SmackDown this week, and Mandy Rose
and
won.
did the same thing.
Mandy Rose won.
Oh god.
Ugh.
Mandy Rose pinned Asuka.
So you know how I was saying I feel a bit sick about that before? I feel a lot more sick now. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Fuck a duck.
I personally got no problem with it. Because if SmackDown roster is losing both Charlotte and Becky for Mania season, because they might be losing both of them permanently, or they might just be losing one of them permanently, and the other one goes back to SmackDown after Mania season.
I guess
They need to start building people on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it. I just don't like okay, so you interrupted the match. That's shit tons better than the 2 previous nights. Coming out, doing a 12 fucking off. Coming out, walking through a tag team, twirling, watching them do a walk and come back and then fucking off. Both pointless, both shit, I don't care. Coming out, interrupting a match, and then so that the underdog wins. Okay, I'm more behind that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense
guess
to
it
me.
makes
That's
her-
a thing that makes sense, because you
Yeah.
go, well, you interrupted the match and you threw me off my game, so now I'm going to fucking want a match with you, and then, something happens, an unclean... thanks, Boo. An unclean finish or something, and then, you're on the start of a setup for something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for Fastlane. You're on the start of a setup for something. But just walking out, doing a twirl and fucking off, nobody needs it. It's pointless. It doesn't do shit.
Yeah. It's got to actually have some effect.
Yeah, but now that you know that the third time it was involved in a...
I still think the first 2 were shit. I still think the first 2 are pointless.
Okay.
I can see the reason. I can see them setting
I think
up a
it would have
pattern.
been more... Sorry, I'll let you finish
Sorry,
your
go on.
point first. Sorry.
I think
Sorry,
I know
I
where
can
you're
say
going with that.
I can see them setting up a pattern, but yeah, it was kind of pointless just having her come out and go away. Sorry, carry on with your...
I think it would have looked a lot more pointless for her to just suddenly wander out in the middle of the match between Rose and Asuka if she hadn't done it before.
Yeah.
I agree. And what I thought you were going to say there was if they hadn't have done it on Raw with heavy machinery, I think it would have been right.
So last on the list is the second Elimination Chamber for the heavyweight title,
Indeed.
Yep.
featuring Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Now, same as last one. Can you remember the order in and out?
It started with Bryan and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Kofi came out.
Yep.
Styles came out.
Yep.
Hardy came out.
Yep.
Orton came out.
Yep.
Joe was eliminated first,
Yep.
followed by Hardy,
Mm-hmm.
followed by Styles,
Yep.
followed by Orton,
Yep.
followed by Kofi.
Mm-hmm. My man.
Excellent. Thoughts?
Very surprised Joe went out first.
Yeah. That was annoying.
I consider that to be typical WWE booking of Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Hate it, but that's what they do all the time. He's booked to look like he's the destroyer, and then he goes out first every time. Which I find infuriating as well.
Yeah.
He would not have been my choice to go out first. I would have had Hardy go out first personally.
I would have had Hardy go out first, then Orton, and then, the last 4 would have killed it.
Yeah. I think so.
I didn't understand the whole ref sending Rowan out in the back. What was he going to do?
That was because of something on SmackDown. He got involved in a match on SmackDown earlier in the week, or it was earlier in the week or the week before, I don't care. And he had to kick him out of the arena that time for interfering in the match. So they just did it as a start of the match thing. But again, like you say, what the fuck is he going to do from the outside?
Well, unless he was going to slide in as somebody got eliminated and then help Bryan for the rest of the match, I didn't see what the problem was. But whatever.
Yeah, it seemed kind of pointless to have him appear and then just be sent backstage again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any more notes on that, or because mine were fairly extensive?
No. I'll be honest. It was late. I was tired. I'd slowed down taking notes. The main notes I took was that, surprised Samoa Joe went out first. Surprised Orton went out fourth. And the Kofi Bryan finish was great. Yeah,
Kofi Bryan, that like sub match at the end of that was fantastic.
I mean, I presume we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
The rest of the match, then, gentlemen.
Okay. So my first note, and this was a real kind of one I was quite happy with and kind of capitalised on, was find someone that looks at you the way Big E looks at Kofi. Like when they brought him out at the beginning, you could tell that they're a really fucking close-knit team.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. Jeff's contact lenses thing, they did a close-up of him when he was in the cell. It looked fucking awesome. I know you're fed up with Jeff Hardy, so am I. But
he's got the look down.
His only value for me is like he is filling up a spot in the match, and he sometimes looks awesome. But that's as far as he goes with me. Daniel Bryan pulled off a really good promo at the start when he came down. I couldn't tell you what the subject of that was, but that was really cool. Kofi did some incredible shit in that match. Like, I can't even begin to start listing that. He was really fucking good.
Yep.
Like, multiple... When people, like, locked up, I kept having, like, Joe Bryan is a pay-per-view match I really want to see at some point. Kofi AJ is a pay-per-view match I want to see at some point. Kofi Bryan is a WrestleMania match I want to see. Kofi Ali is a pay-per-view match I want to see. I started thinking about it's such a shame Ali didn't get to be in this match, because I think he would have killed it just as much.
I think it is a horrible shame that Ali wasn't in the match, but if he wasn't, Kofi wouldn't have had this opportunity to shine as much as he had. So, big shame. I think Ali's going to have probably a good career ahead of him, so there'll be plenty more opportunities for him to shine. It was nice to get somebody like Kofi to actually get some spotlight.
Yeah, for him to get the opportunity.
So I'll take it for now.
Yeah, I thought I really enjoyed it. Like, it's not the best Elimination Chamber match I've ever seen, I don't think.
No.
But it was a really solid match, and the last, however long it was, where you had Kofi Bryan, was probably the segment of the night for me. Like, pure wrestling, one-on-one matchup. That was the best matchup we saw that entire night, I think. And it really, like, if those two can get a match at the main event as one of the next pay-per-views, it will be good. I genuinely think.
Anything else?
A lot of pushing F. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, as we already said, annoyed Joe went out first.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
My main takeaway from this particular match was, I'd really like to see AJ versus Randy Orton.
Really?
Which is surprising, bearing in mind how much I slagged Randy Orton off last time we talked.
I mean, his spot to eliminate AJ was really cool. I had a note in there somewhere, like a really cool RKO spot to eliminate AJ. That actually genuinely was out of nowhere for once.
It's just a feud that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton must be like the only main event guy AJ hasn't wrestled.
They had a match because that was they had a match where he went to do the Phenomenal Forearm, and Randy Orton set up for the RKO out of nowhere too late. And AJ basically hit the brakes on the Phenomenal Forearm and jumped back down. There's a really cool gif of that, of Orton literally went for the RKO and AJ kind of went, no, I don't think I'll do that. And it was really cool.
It's hilarious. I have seen that.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see them match again, especially if Orton's got his game, is actually in the game for that match. It will be good. I can support. I'd love to see that. And I never thought I'd say I'd love to see Orton in a match.
But at current, before that match happens, I would only like to see it once. If it is that good that I want to see it again, I'll be surprised.
Aside from the RKO on Styles, the only part of it that I really remember was the swanton off the pod.
Yeah.
Which was he was on the top of the ropes, wasn't he?
He was spread across the turnbuckle,
Yeah. That was particularly
It
cool.
was on AJ, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So I've not seen him do that before. I don't know if any of you have.
I'm guessing that thing that Kofi was busy doing in the locker room was thanking God that Mustafa Ali got put on the injured list because he would not have been given the opportunity to shine the way he did if that hadn't happened.
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
And I think we'd be having this same conversation about Mustafa Ali instead of Kofi Kingston.
Yes.
So all the people who are ranting and raving about how this is Kofi's time, it was like, he's just fucking lucky to have been put in the match at all.
Yeah.
But he made the most of the opportunity.
Yeah. That is how you take an opportunity and you fucking run with it.
But it didn't make me want to see Kofi Kingston in the main event winning the title or anything.
No.
Sorry. Everybody else seems to be on that mentality all of a sudden, but I don't suddenly want to see Kofi Kingston in the main event.
I do, but I don't want to see it next week, if you know what I mean.
It proved that, he can hang with the big boys, but at the same time, that just proves to me that anybody can probably hang when put in that spot. There's so many guys in the mid-card who could have been put in that spot and had a career-defining performance. I don't see this as a reason to suddenly be bigging up Kofi Kingston as if he's the best thing since sliced bread, personally. But he did put on an amazing performance. Don't genuinely want to see him in the main event on a regular basis, though.
No, I think with a good build-up, it could be fun for a couple of months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe after Mania, like, if they did a bit of a build-up, just for a little something after Mania before they start building towards, like, Money in the Bank and SummerSlam
maybe
and
have
stuff.
him win something to earn it. You know, have some kind of tournament that he pulls out with some kind of surprise win on.
Put some time into it.
Yeah.
Make him somebody that you'd want to see.
Do you want to see him as a champion, though?
Yeah, I think
in
so.
his current state, yes and no, and I see where you're coming from. Like, it's one of those things. It's like I have jumped on the bandwagon a little bit, and I'm kind of like, I'd love to see this, but I'm thinking at the same time, not without the right build. I wouldn't. Like, if you put him in a match at Fastlane and he wins it, and he's got the title, it's too soon. There's no build. There's where are you going with this? Spend a couple months, build him up. Show he's good consistently, show he can do good storylines, then sure.
So you'd want the chase to go on for a while before he won it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd want it to build organically and for him to earn it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want this to be one of those things of, oh crap, everyone's jumped on the Kofi bandwagon. Quick, give him the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think if they built it properly, I think we'd all be behind it. But again, Vince.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, Nick, I wouldn't say that this particular chamber match was anything to write home about. Mm-hmm. But the one thing it did do was remind everybody of just how good Kofi Kingston can actually be when he's given the chance.
Yeah.
And that was the main takeaway.
I mean, credit to him as well. It gave Daniel Bryan a chance to be really fucking good as well. Because that final segment was both of them working that so well. Yeah,
it does take two to tango. They were both very good in that last bit. I think it was everyone's sort of jumped onto Kofi a lot more because you don't see him in that light so often. But it was a very good opportunity for both of those two to be very good.
Yeah, and for Bryan to remind people why he's there, where he is, why he's at the top of the tree.
He can have good matches that don't involve him just hitting a running knee and a fucking face lock.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan's never been a one-trick pony.
No, but
I don't think anybody ever forgot just how good Daniel Bryan is.
No.
Whereas I think people had forgotten how good Kofi Kingston can be.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So how would you rate the Chamber pay-per-view overall then?
I would say it was solid with some hefty low notes.
Yeah. Both chambers, definite high points. Everything else, fairly low in between. Aggressively just above medium.
Yeah, aggressive average, I think. That's a good way to put it.
I would go with average as well. It didn't suck,
yeah,
but there was nothing on it that made it stand out.
It was better than just about everything they put on last year.
I was just about to say that. If you compared it to most pay-per-views last year, it was better than a lot of them. A lot of them. but it still had nothing on Evolution.
Yeah.
Would you say it was better than the Chamber Pay-Per-View last year?
I haven't seen it, if I'm honest.
That doesn't help.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
There's nothing particularly memorable for me about last year's Chamber. Obviously, the first Women's Chamber was pretty decent.
Good save.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that this year's men's was better because last year's men's was Braun Strowman beating everyone
Yes, exactly,
but Roman
yeah.
Reigns.
Yeah.
And it was just, this is just indicative of WWE booking at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I watched last year's Chamber before I watched this one live. That's how memorable it was.
Okay, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Better than last year,
Yeah.
but still not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's our take on this year's Elimination Chamber Pay-Per-View.
Okay.
What shall we discuss next?
Ooh, let's jump into something funny.
Okay.
Can I entertain you both very quickly? Mm-hmm. So, it's the middle of February, and Nick here very kindly bought me a T-shirt for Christmas, a Bullet Club T-shirt. Now, I will admit, it only just fit me. Right? I'm a man built for winter, and it only just fit me. And I wore it twice, and I washed it,
Oh no.
and this is how big it is now.
Let me guess, it would probably fit me. Oh.
Smooth.
Wow.
It's shrunk heavily.
Jesus.
So unfortunately it doesn't fit anymore. Like, I tried it on the other day. Not even close. I literally was just like, that's not happening.
Oh no, that's such a shame.
And I laughed my fucking ass off.
I think you should wear it anyway.
I mean,
we
doubly
put it on
hilarious
now?
then that I'm wearing,
If we go to a pay-per-view or at any point,
doubly hilarious then that I'm wearing my Bullet Club t-shirt that I bought at the same time today.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what the fuck happened because not anything else in that wash shrunk. Only that T-shirt.
oh weird.
fuck.
So, I don't know. And I've
Where'd you
had...
get it from?
Amazon. It wasn't expensive, but still, I would have thought it would survive at least a wash.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'm obviously going to keep it. I may just like pin it to the wall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well,
know, put it up as a
Use it as home decoration.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Put it in like a picture
But,
frame or something. Yeah.
I thought you'd all find that funny.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Moving on to something actually wrestling related, I suppose. Let's dive into the fun that is Corey Graves and Carmella.
What a surprise! He's a douchebag. That's most of my take on that.
So, one note I've got here is during the first chamber match, he said, "I don't normally admit my mistakes as I rarely make them."
That's hilarious.
And he also said something along the lines of, "This match means a lot to everyone. Even my kids will be watching, and it means a lot to them." And I remember just thinking, shut the fuck up, Graves.
Yeah, I remember him bringing up his kids during the match at one point, and I was like, oh, I hope Vince told you to say that, because if he didn't, you look like an absolute dick.
Yeah, so to explain,
I'm sure it would have been a little bit more meaningful for them, for their family to stay together, but
Yes.
you know, whatever.
for those of you who don't know, what was it? Would it be Saturday or Sunday afternoon that his wife posted the thing?
I'm
Saturday.
sure it was a couple of days before.
I think it was
Couple
like
of days
Thursday or
before?
Friday.
Thursday, Friday. Okay, so it was a couple of days before Chamber Pay-Per-View. Corey Graves' wife posted a lovely picture of their family together, the two of them and their kids, with a nice post about how he's been cheating on her with Carmella. And didn't really hold him any punches, but basically said, you've ruined this nice little family we had, and you've ruined all respect your kids ever had for you. Get fucked and all that kind of shit. So, dumbass.
Yeah. I must
done a
admit,
Bray Wyatt.
when I heard about that, I found... Well, I kind of had a picture of one of those things. He sent a tweet to CM Punk years back. Well, I say years back. It was June 2018. Saying, the first rule of punk rock is loyalty, and this guy betrayed it all. And just tweeted that, a screenshot of that at him saying, this hasn't aged very well, has it?
Nice.
Yeah, fucking idiot. I mean, I guess these people are, they're on the road together. They're the only people they see day to day. He probably doesn't see his family until like maybe once a month or so. So I understand how that happens with people. I think he's fucking dumb. But
yeah, I mean, it happens every now and then. It pops up every now and then in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
The one before this was Bray Wyatt and JoJo.
Yeah.
You know, it all gets very public and very messy and very silly. Dumbasses all round. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I didn't get to chime in with my thoughts.
Sure.
Sorry.
I don't care.
There you go. Let's move on.
Yeah, but seriously though, that's life. It happens.
Yeah.
Just because this guy's on TV doesn't mean he's on another moral plane. And this applies to all walks of life. He's not on a different moral plane than anybody else on the planet, right?
Yeah.
I know plenty of people. I have been in the situation where people have cheated on me. You know, it just happens.
Yeah.
Putting a bit of gold round your finger and standing in front of a bunch of people and making a bunch of promises, sadly, doesn't mean shit. And it doesn't mean that in 5 minutes or 50 years you're not going to find somebody that you like more than the person you went through that ceremony with.
Or that, you know, you'll get drunk and you're in the right place.
Whether you've got kids or not. You know, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
And yes, it is definitely more likely to happen when you're in close quarters with people 300 days of the year.
Yeah.
And you work alongside them and stuff like that. Loads of people are suggesting that Charlotte Flair's now dating Andrade Cien Almas and shit like that. Okay, you know, these people, they see each other all the time.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is going to happen. I'm not condoning it. I don't think that's honourable or a decent thing to do. But let's not make out that he's the fucking devil.
No, true.
Right?
I will agree.
Because, you know, there's plenty of people, probably who might even listen to this, who are no saints themselves. So, you know, cast the first stone and all that shite.
Yeah. I think...
Do I agree with it? No. At the end of the day, do I care? No. Horrible for his kids and his wife, but c'est la vie. That is the world we live in, unfortunately. And the majority of people haven't got the spine to break up with their significant other in an honourable fashion. This is coming from a guy who, you know, has had multiple relationships and only knows why 2 of them ended from the girls' end, because only 2 of them had the backbone to actually bother to tell me. The rest of them just went, not doing this anymore. I'm not going to bother telling you why. Okay, he didn't even do that.
Yeah.
So that's worse. But yeah. Again, I'm not going to sit there and every time he opens his mouth think, what a cunt.
Oh, no.
He is
not.
for doing that.
Yeah.
As is anybody else who ever does it. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, let's start a Corey Graves hate chain.
No.
He's a human being at the end of the day.
And shit happens.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yep, indeed.
The only thing that raised it slightly for me was when he starts saying things like that during the Chamber, which is the first time he's then on TV again. And it's like... maybe you wanted to mind a couple of your sentences a bit more, but again, it doesn't really matter, does it?
And again, you have to wonder how much of that is Vince McMahon telling him what to say.
Yeah, Vince is probably laughing backstage like, I'm going to make him say this.
Yeah, that could have been a rib.
Yeah.
For all we know.
Yeah. Anywho, weeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where do you fancy going? Bit of NXT call-ups?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's a bit of a stretch to call them call-ups.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it? Not only... I mean, they're still going on NXT, aren't they?
Yeah.
And apparently they're now main roster. According to some of the... Well, the way the commentary was going, it was like, you know, welcome to the, you know, big time boys, you know, and all that shit.
Yeah, I don't think this is their actual full-time debut. I think this is just an exhibition.
I hope not.
Well, I can tell you there's another 3 weeks worth of NXT tapings involving all of them, so it's not.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Unless there's suddenly going to be on Raw and SmackDown this week and next week and the week after as well, and then continuing from there. Yeah. That was not their call-up. No. That was a one-off appearance to get ratings that week.
From what I understand, Vince panicked on Monday afternoon and didn't like the show he had put together and went behind Triple H's back and went, I need some more people. People like the NXT people. Give me the best people from NXT.
Yeah, from what I heard, Triple H was not consulted beforehand.
They didn't say anything. They didn't say shit to Triple H.
That's fucking shit.
And that's why you had DIY working together. If Triple H had any say in that, that would never have been a thing.
Yeah.
He would. Apparently, he's really pissed off with Vince for that.
We'll come back to that in a minute when we discuss another topic. I know things that others.
Yeah, I'm talking about before the NXT tapings have aired.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, in what was current continuity at that point on Monday.
Oh no, I was the same.
For them to be a tag team.
You know, because that obviously happened before the tapings happened this week, and I was like, why in the blue fuck have they put DIY back together?
Yeah.
For this, because that doesn't make any sense storyline wise.
And they said it quite a lot. DIY working together. Graves said it a few times.
Yeah.
On Raw. Because I've watched Raw this week. I've not watched SmackDown.
So they highlighted the fact that what had been going on in NXT storyline wise.
They highlighted the fact that they used to be, not knowing much about NXT, so go with me here. They highlighted the fact that they were DIY when they were together as a tag team, and they're on Raw and SmackDown as DIY again, but not specifically named. It was like, here's Ciampa and Gargano, and then Graves were like, that's good to see them back together. DIY are great, and he's like, DIY are great, and all of this, and just the way they were saying it was as if they were on the show as DIY.
You can't have them together and not bring that up.
Yeah.
I know, but it was excessive.
It was the focal point of all of last year.
Yeah.
NXT.
Yeah.
He mentioned it excessively. It was kind of
this is the feud that you wish they'd book more often. It's Gargano and Ciampa.
Yes.
Because it started in 2017 and went through all of 2018, and it's still going on now.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you could argue it started in the Cruiserweight Classic, the first one, when they were paired up against each other in the first round.
Wait, but DIY didn't split up for a while after that, though.
No, but the seeds of that were
that's
sown.
when they decided.
Yeah, because they were teasing them breaking up at basically every pay-per-view after that. They had little flashbacks to them facing each other in the Cruiserweight Classic, and then forming a team because they couldn't do anything else. And they were teasing that Ciampa was getting pissed off that he felt like Gargano was holding him back. They sowed that all the way back then, and only recently did it actually grow fruit and then get even fucking better. Like, that's some fucking incredible booking they put together. Like, I genuinely think that's probably one of the best booked feuds I've maybe ever seen.
That in a way benefited from one of the guys being injured.
Yeah,
for a long term.
that really made it work. Yeah,
which is brilliantly interesting at the same time. Like,
so you didn't watch any of that, did you?
Not really, no.
Right. So the way it panned out was they had a ladder match between DIY and the Authors of Pain for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a brutal match.
It was insane.
Like, Tommaso Ciampa injured his leg in the match.
5 minutes in, I think?
There was a spot where Johnny Gargano got smashed in the face with the ladder by the Authors of Pain, and dear God, that is probably the worst ladder spot I've...
Yeah.
In terms of how sickeningly brutal it looked.
Right.
It was the worst ladder spot I've ever seen in my life. It was executed to perfection.
Yeah.
But it looked like they tried to take Gargano's head off.
I'll go back and watch that.
You need to watch that
yes,
ladder
you do,
match.
yeah.
It is literally... If I had to say, right, here's the 5 NXT matches you have to watch, that's one of them. Mm-hmm. Right? And the way it ended was... it was the main event, wasn't it?
I think so.
It was the main event of the night.
Yes, it was, yeah.
And Authors of Pain won.
Yep.
They left. Gargano and Ciampa are in the middle of the ring getting a standing ovation.
Yep.
They go all the way up to the top of the ramp. The old symbol in the bottom left that tells you the pay-per-view is finished, even that had appeared at that point. So you thought it was just going to be the two of them there making the most of their standing ovation.
Yeah, because it felt like that was the point when they were going to go up to the main roster. It felt like their end of NXT moment, didn't it?
And Ciampa turns to Gargano and says something to him, and then he just suddenly grabs him by the neck and throws him into the LED board at the top of the stage.
Yeah.
And then he beats him up some more, sprawls him out across the NXT announce table, and then gives him a air raid crash off the NXT announce table, which is on a pedestal, through a bunch of tables that were next to it.
Wow.
And that was it. But the thing was, is that Ciampa had injured his leg in the match.
Yes. Yeah,
So
he-
he's immediately written off the roster straight after that.
Yeah.
And he's gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
Fucking
So I think he
amazing.
tore his ACL or something like that.
Something
It was
like
serious,
that.
yeah.
And Gargano himself disappeared for like 3 months. And
Yeah.
then he suddenly came back and he started working up his way to becoming the number 1 contender for the
Yeah.
NXT title.
Yeah.
He challenged
Andrade,
Almas
yeah.
in January of 2018, wasn't it?
Yes, when it was an insanely good match.
He lost. And then Ciampa suddenly reappeared and attacked him again with a crutch.
Yeah.
And then it went on and on
Yeah.
and on. Then Ciampa came back to the roster. They started having their grudge matches, and
Yeah.
then Ciampa became the champion.
Yeah.
Thanks to Gargano accidentally screwing
Black.
Black out of it.
Yeah.
Then they had the whole, there's going to be a triple threat match, but oh no, Aleister Black's been attacked and taken out for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then they had their last man standing title match. Then they found out that it was Gargano who attacked Black. All of that only happened because Black had got a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he got written off of TV.
So a second injury
Yep.
that possibly benefited that storyline
Yep.
as well. So
Yep.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took advantage of these injuries and really made them work.
Gargano turned heel. And then we've gone on to Gargano Black, Ciampa being the champion ever since.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth, up until Gargano won the North American title.
Mm-hmm.
Black did not regain the NXT title. Here we are now.
Yeah.
Great feud from start
Yeah.
to finish. Perfect.
Excellent
I
booking.
cannot
Yeah.
fault that feud at all. So, yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Insanely well booked. Yeah.
But in terms of main roster call-ups, no.
Not
But
yet.
that was flash in the pan
Yeah.
ratings for this week.
Yeah. It
And I'll
was,
tell you what,
a,
it was fucking weird, right? It was done so strangely. Start of Raw, it starts with Triple H already halfway through his entrance.
Well, apparently every Raw for the last month has started with one of the Authority coming out to talk instead of starting with
a match.
matches.
Yeah.
Funny that. And he's basically saying, you know, Chamber was great. How about that Kofi Kingston? And then he goes like, oh, so tonight we're going to have some people from NXT coming. And he's like, tonight we're going to have this guy, Ricochet. And then like the screen shows a very short thing about Ricochet. And we're also going to get Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa, and Gargano does the same thing all 4 times. And it's like, this is really odd. Like, why are you announcing this?
I feel like they should have been a surprise.
Exactly. And this is a gripe I've had about WWE before. They rip the surprise out of things for ratings. It's like, no,
Yeah.
if you had the surprise things, people would watch because they're going to go, wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I wonder who it's going to be.
But would they?
I would.
If the show doesn't start off strong and looks like it's going to be a bog standard, boring as hell episode of Raw, would you watch all 3 hours for surprises?
If they did it more often, yes.
Under the impression that you're probably not going to get a surprise, or would you spoil that straight away to ensure that people stayed tuned? Because this week's Raw had significantly better numbers
Yeah.
than previous Raws this year. It actually saw an increase in viewers as opposed to staying at the same level or a decrease.
Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
I think by announcing that straight away, more people said, "Okay, I am
Yeah.
actually
Watch
going to
it.
watch all 3 hours."
I guess they retain people, yeah.
Okay. I think if they did the surprise thing on a more regular basis, it would work more. But yeah, I get where you're going.
If they had a precedent of doing decent surprises.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was just odd. It just felt really forced. It felt really forced, and like obviously for ratings. And it got to the first thing. There was the first person that came out was Ricochet, and he came out to save Balor, who was getting attacked by Lashley and Rush, and that turned into a tag match, which the whole way through the tag match, they didn't really mention anything in the match other than this fucking Ricochet guy. You kind of want to watch him. He's the best thing ever. And that's pretty much all the commentary for that whole match. And, you know, he did the usual Ricochet, was great.
Yeah.
Got the pin. And that was that. And it was like, cool. Thanks, Ricochet.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Then you had Ciampa and Gargano against
The Revival.
The Revival. Solid match, nothing to shout home about. And then who's the other one? Aleister Black interrupted Elias.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was just like, it was just really odd.
Yeah.
Right,
I think
you said you didn't watch SmackDown. Ricochet beat Eric Young. Holy fuck, Sanity
Holy
got on
shit.
TV.
Holy shit, did they remember who they were? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
DIY beat the Bar.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Aleister Black beat
Nice.
Andrade,
Yeah.
which is hilarious as his wife
Yes.
manages Andrade.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Apparently, the Balor match with Ricochet was originally going to be Balor versus Ricochet, but Triple H intervened at the last minute and went, "No, don't be stupid. These are two people."
That's a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, that's a
Any day
pay-per-view
of the
match.
week.
Why are
Yeah.
you doing that? Don't do this now. You've got Balor, who's really strong from his win last night. You've got him on a high, and then you've got Ricochet that you also want to show strong.
Rush took the pin again, didn't he?
I think he probably did. Yeah.
So the logical way to do it is just to continue having the manager dude who's being put in the match takes
Yeah.
the pin.
Yeah.
If you had Balor and Ricochet, it'd be like, well, one of them just won the Intercontinental title, and the other one's up on cut. He hasn't, he's making his way up to the main roster. You can't bury either of them,
Exactly.
and you still don't want to bury Bobby Lashley. So let's continue. But we do have Leo Rush, who none of us give a fuck about. Sorry, Leo.
I don't think.
I don't say that in terms of a fan perspective. I come from the management and booking team.
Yeah.
Is like, right, well, we've got Leo Rush in here. He's literally just put in there to be the weak
He's
link
got
to Bobby
nothing to
Lashley.
lose.
He's the
So
pin taker.
he can take the pin.
Yeah.
But Ricochet's got to get it because he's the one we need to highlight right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this seems to be, I don't know, I don't ever read anything about in terms of how NXT does. I mean, it's not on a TV station.
No,
is
it's
it?
not, no.
It's on the network.
Network only. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're desperately trying to get more people to watch NXT, and that was the whole idea,
Maybe.
or whether it was just for ratings this week.
I think that from what I understand, it was literally a panic. We've got to drive the ratings up.
But you're just going to watch them go down again next week.
Yeah.
So just don't.
You're just setting yourself up to fail.
Mm.
Like, are they going to have a random NXT call ups, bunny ears, every week? Are we going to have different NXT people popping up on Raw and SmackDown?
I mean,
every
that
week?
could be interesting. I'd certainly be.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
But
It's certainly.
my main concern is you just called up 6 people,
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
and apparently Lacey Evans is the only one you want to do anything with.
Mm.
Yeah.
Heavy Machinery have had a fair bit of TV time.
But they've still done
fucking
EC3
bullshit.
hasn't.
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan hasn't appeared once.
Poor bugger. Yeah.
But that's because he's had some sort of weird anxiety attack
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Apparently, the
Yeah.
original idea was Lars Sullivan was going to come in and squash a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and then he'd wrestle Cena at Mania.
Yeah, he was gonna. The original plan was for him to interrupt Cena, interrupt Cena's entrance to the Royal Rumble and take him out.
Yeah. And they had to change it to McIntyre taking Cena out of the Rumble entirely because they didn't have the Sullivan spot.
Yeah.
Because Sullivan has got some weird anxiety issue and hasn't been on TV since he got called up.
Yeah.
In any way, shape or form. Which is really weird. Because I really enjoyed considering he was the
Yeah, I
bog
like him.
standard typical monster heel who would just smash everybody. I actually enjoyed Lars Sullivan, and he was half decent on the mic as well.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, okay, you're going to Raw now. Oh no, I can't handle that. What? Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
Where's this coming from? That you can't handle doing live TV?
I mean, in fairness, that's a fucking huge step up of stage.
Who else got called up?
Nikki Cross.
Yeah, so Heavy Machinery, EC3, Lars Sullivan, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross.
That's the 6.
Yeah, but Heavy Machinery would be considered as a tag team, so they'd be one.
Okay.
There's somebody else, isn't there?
No, I think that's it.
All right, okay. Well, yeah. Why Lacey Evans is the only one to do anything with?
Mm.
So why, if we needed to pull Aleister Black and the 2 singles title holders and Ricochet up to the roster? It was just a cheap tactic to get ratings that week,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
And what was even weirder was the crowd, right? And, okay, not everyone watches NXT. So some people in the crowd are not going to have a fucking Scoobies who any of these 4 people are.
They bloody well should, but yeah.
But of course they should. But the whole crowd, the whole of Raw, seemed that they were at the wrong show.
Yeah.
Right? Now, love him or hate him, when Balor comes out, you know, and you get that shot from the top of the stage where he does the arms up in time with the music, you see arms go up around the whole fucking arena.
Yeah.
There was, I would say, maybe 50 people did it. And it was like they all were like, just not against Balor, but they just didn't care. And it was like, okay, that's odd. And then like when Ricochet actually came out, or when any of them were announced by Triple H, when any of them fucking came out, the crowd didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. And
they didn't care about anything that happened all fucking night.
From the dirt sheet stuff that I read, a lot of them pointed out that the crowd that night literally seemed like they couldn't care less.
Yeah. It was
anything they were
literally like they were at the wrong show. And they were just sitting there waiting for something to happen. And it was like, you know,
but from all accounts it did, and they didn't care anyway.
Exactly, and it's like if the 3 of us or people like us were there, and fucking one of those 4 people turned up on Raw, we'd be like, well, hey, it's fucking
marking out.
NXT representing. This is great.
Yeah, I'd be marking out like
but
a fucking idiot.
People just didn't care. Like when Ricochet's music hit and he came belting out, there was barely a noise.
One and only.
Yeah.
And no one gave
ridiculous.
a fuck. You know, and it was like, why? Why do none of you give a fuck? Like,
because they wanted the Undisputed Era. Baby.
I mean, why did they even pay to go and see a Raw?
Oh, sorry.
If they didn't give a fuck.
Adam Cole, baby!
There it is.
Well,
yeah.
Rip headphone
I'm not
users.
only going to do that for the Iconics, I'm going to do that as well. Yeah,
my sincere apologies to headphone users. I will push F to pay respects now.
All about the UE, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love them.
And that is undisputed.
So, moving from quote-unquote call-ups, carrying on the NXT theme, and you sort of teased it a little bit with saying that, you know, you knew things that were coming up that haven't happened yet. You know.
Yeah.
Gargano's only just won that title. And it's gone.
Yes, indeed. So, for those who don't know, the WWE history books will record that Johnny Gargano was the North American champion for a grand total of 3 weeks. The reality was that he was the North American champion for 4 days.
Yep.
Because obviously NXT is taped.
In advance, yeah.
Yeah, so Johnny Gargano has already lost the North American Championship to the Velveteen Dream.
D-R-E-A-M. Sorry.
D-R-E-A-M.
We all have our own ticks, I'm sorry.
Hey, you gotta love the Dream.
Yeah, it was fucking fantastic. He deserves. I gotta admit, he deserves that title. He deserves.
Yeah. Because he's been there a long time.
Yeah.
And he's never won anything truly significant apart from that. So yeah, I'm fully support Velveteen Dream as the champion. I would have preferred him to have won it at a takeover though.
Yeah, that would have felt more organic, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But I will go into why I think they decided to make this a TV title change in a minute.
Okay.
Purely based on the taping results that happened this week.
Yeah, because didn't they also tape...
If you don't want to know what's going to happen on NXT next week onwards, then when I mention it in a minute, skip that bit.
Yeah, skip a bit, yeah.
Because I am going to tell you everything that happens in those 3 weeks worth of tapings too.
Didn't they record 2 endings to that match as well to try and dodge the online spoilers?
I didn't read anything about that.
I think they did. They recorded Dream winning and the crowd reaction, and then they immediately reset and recorded Gargano winning and the crowd reaction.
One thing that was annoying, the only takeaway, the bad takeaway from that match, is that Nigel McGuinness kept saying that during the Worlds Collide tournament, which is how the Dream earned his title shot in the first place, that he injured his knee. The actual storyline during that tournament was that Dream had injured his ribs.
Oh, okay.
And McGuinness said that more than once during the title match. And I was like, Nigel, you even commentated on the main event of the Worlds
Nigel.
Collide tournament in person, and you're still giving inaccurate information during the commentary of this. He hurt his ribs during the tournament. He had bandages around his midsection in the main event of the tournament that you did commentary on, and here you are now telling everybody that he hurt his leg when he didn't.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if this is Nigel McGuinness just forgot what he called a month ago, because again, that was pre-taped as well, or somebody's in the back telling him to purposely say the wrong thing.
Odd.
But that was the thing that annoyed me the entire time. I was like, oh yes, Dream worked through a leg injury. No, he didn't. He worked through a rib injury. It was a fucking rib injury. Stop telling us that it was a leg injury, because it wasn't. You're just making Nigel McGuinness look stupid now by doing this. And that was the only, like, I mean, that match went on for like 20 odd minutes. Great match. It was great NXT main event quality. Wasn't takeover quality.
Okay.
But they're the sort of guys who are just like, we know when
Yeah.
to step it
Yeah,
up.
had
to
that,
next
I'm
level.
sure had that been on Takeover, they would have stepped it up.
Yeah.
Rip the house down, I imagine.
Yeah.
But
So I would honestly like to see them have a rematch at the next Takeover, but we're not doing the Takeover spoilers yet, so I won't finish that sentence until in a minute. So yeah, next.
to be continued.
Taping spoilers, or
Oh yeah, fuck it, alright, we'll just do the taping spoilers now. So, one of the big things to point out about the next NXT episodes is that it's WrestleMania season. And if you watch NXT on a regular basis, you know that WrestleMania season is also the same time they do the Dusty Classic, baby.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Now, I'm not going to give you spoilers for the entire thing, but I am going to tell you who the preliminary tag teams were to begin with.
Okay.
So, the qualifying teams to begin with are the Street Profits, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the Forgotten Sons, Mustache Mountain, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Aichner, who are, to be fair, probably my favourite new tag team at the moment. There's one more in there. I can't think who it is.
whereabouts? Where are you? 6.
This is number 6, yeah, because there's two.
Black and Ricochet.
Oh no! Well, yes, there is. I know
Yeah,
there's
sorry.
Black and Ricochet.
Yeah, I knew that.
Who are the Smush team.
Yeah,
DIY.
yeah.
And there's another team in there somewhere as well, and I can't think who it is.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
Oh, who the fuck is it?
I'm trying to think of fucking names of NXT tag teams now that you haven't said. Is it the War Raiders? Maybe.
Oh no! Sorry, just fucking sucking them off just now. Undisputed Era.
Of course. Yep, there we
Sorry,
go.
Fucking
sorry. And when I say Undisputed Era, we're talking Fish and O'Reilly. So they've now officially reset back to the original way the Undisputed Era was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's Fish and O'Reilly about to get. It's no longer Fish and Roderick Strong. It's now Fish and O'Reilly again.
Okay, good.
Sorry, O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, and it's now Fish and O'Reilly again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roderick Strong's gone back to being the singles guy,
Cool.
or the other singles guy in the era.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dusty Classic time. I already know who the finalists are, but I'm going to ask you two, who do you think the finalists are in the Dusty Classic?
Fuck a duck.
Because they've done the preliminary, quarterfinals, and semi-finals all in the next set of NXT tapings. So the finals, I'm guessing, are going to be at the next takeover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they will be. Yeah.
So I already know who's in the finals. Who do you two think made it to the finals?
I'm not going to comment because I was just looking up who the entrants were and I had the whole thing spoiled for me. So
No, that doesn't help. Toby, who do you think? Based on the fact you don't watch NXT and don't know a lot about any of the teams we just said anyway, who do you think is going to be in the finals?
Well, one team I know quite well is the Undisputed Era. So you see, the way I'm thinking about it, not knowing loads about NXT is like, well, they're the big stable, so surely it's them. But at the same time, does that make it predictable and therefore it's not them? So I'm going to say no to Undisputed Era.
I'm not going to tell you either way.
Oh, okay.
Mainly because, the people who may or may not listen don't want to know.
Okay.
And it'll be better for them to not know.
Fair enough. Then I would expect DIY.
Stop looking at me as if you want to... I can do nod and shakes, but I don't genuinely trust you not to make a jokey comment after I do so that gives it away to our audience. So I'm going to give you nothing.
Okay, give me nothing. Tell me after. I'll look it up after. So I'm guessing DIY if they're in it, and I mean, I would love it to be like Mustache Mountain, but I doubt it's going to be them. I can't think of half the other teams that you mentioned that were in it.
Street Profits. I bring the swag, nobody can.
I guess I know to them.
Do you know anything about the Street Profits?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm very new to NXT.
They're good.
They're very good. Yeah. Okay.
And you got the Forgotten Sons.
Forgotten Sons.
Who are good.
A name I keep hearing.
The Sons of Anarchy ripoffs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what they are.
Yeah. That's what Aces and Eights was.
It doesn't make... The whole gimmick doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No.
Right, there's 3 of them. Okay.
Oh, there's 3 teams in it.
No. Sorry,
Oh.
I'm just talking about the Forgotten Sons now.
Sorry.
There's 3 of them. One of them is Wesley Blake, the guy who used to be the tag partner of Buddy Murphy when they were an NXT tag team with Alexa Bliss as their manager.
Right.
And we all know who got the best out of that situation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Alexa fucking Bliss.
Yeah.
Buddy Murphy went on to his cruiserweight career, and Wesley Blake went into
Obscurity.
limbo because nobody remembered he even existed.
I think Wesley Blake... Was it Wesley Blake that suffered with an injury that took him out of that
Probably.
team?
And he's been paired with 2 absolute fucking nobodies. And then they turn around and going, we are the Forgotten Sons. People have forgotten us.
I mean,
So
he's,
you can't
he's right
forget.
There.
You
He's
can't.
Right there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
The other 2 aren't because you weren't there in the fuck. You can't be forgotten if nobody knew about you to begin with.
Agreed.
You got Ricochet and Black, Smash Team.
Again, I would have said no to that because I imagine they will be doing other things for the takeover because it's to be the takeover before Mania will be the next takeover.
It will indeed.
Yeah, like for Mania, yeah.
So I would have expected them to have other things than being against my other guess of DIY.
Right, now do you remember that I told you... Now remember how the Dusty Classic finished last year?
Yeah.
Now, you didn't watch it, but I discussed it with you.
You watched the... I'm pretty sure you... Did you watch Takeover with me that happened at?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. That's a shame. Yeah, but I mean, but to give you a precedent, Smush teams do extremely well in the Dusty Classic.
I see.
Okay.
The very first winners of the Dusty Classic was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right before they started their NXT title feud.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Well, it was with Finn Balor as the champion at the time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So they won the inaugural Dusty Classic. And it was AOP after that, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Then didn't they have a year where they didn't do it?
Let me have a look.
And then the year after that, it was the Undisputed... Well, sorry, last year was Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
So I imagine they won't win it again.
And now we've got...
Yeah.
No, hold on. They weren't even in the tournament last year, but they won it.
Yeah. Because they interrupted.
Okay.
No, they didn't interrupt.
Well, they interrupted...
They got... Oh, I remember
they
you telling me this. They got
interrupted the
inserted
final.
into it, didn't they?
The
got inserted into the final.
storyline is that whoever won the Dusty Classic last year would then automatically get the next tag team title shot.
Yep.
And the Dusty Classic final originally was the Authors of Pain, who'd won it the year before, versus the Smush team of Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. And during the finals, the Undisputed Era interfered and caused a double disqualification so that neither team won the tournament and therefore didn't get the title shot.
Right.
And then Regal turned around and said, well, we're going to redo this match now, but instead of having the team who wins the tournament gets the title shot, we're going to make the title shot part of the final. So it will be a triple threat tag match between Authors of Pain, Undisputed Era, and the Smush team of Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne.
And it was a really,
Which
really
is why
good
I
match.
said to you, the Undisputed Era could end up winning the tournament they weren't in to begin with. And
Amazing.
that is what fucking happened. But it made absolutely no fucking sense in execution. Because Pete Dunne hit Kyle O'Reilly with the bitter end, and it was and nobody had kicked out of that move up until that point. So it was like, right, well, Pete Dunne has just won the match, but him and Roderick Strong? No, Strong broke up the pin,
I was gonna say,
and
that's
then
when
hit his
Strong-
finisher on Dunne, and O'Reilly pinned him.
Yeah.
And the justification for that was Strong wanted to be a champion in NXT. Well, he
was
waited.
about to be.
If
Yeah.
he'd waited 2 seconds, he would have been.
Yeah. But
Instead, he broke up the pin, gave the win to the Era, and then just assumed the part of the tag team guy alongside Kyle O'Reilly, while Cole carried on being the North American champion, which made no fucking sense whatsoever. It just seemed like a justification for making Pete Dunne an enemy of the Era, ready for War Games 6 months later.
It was also the fact that the other member of the Undisputed Era had injured his foot, so they needed someone else to be there, so they didn't have to have Adam Cole teamed up with them constantly.
Yeah.
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 That's fine.
So, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
But in terms of the way they actually did it.
Yeah, and in terms of execution, it did make sense.
Then in that case, I choose the Usos.
Could be.
No, I have no idea. I would imagine off the reputation from what I've heard from you two of all of those teams, I would guess at DIY and Era as the final.
Oh, I think that would be a really good final.
So
But I'm not
I will
going
look
to
at it. I will look it up and find out the result
Sorry,
after we
as I
record it.
say, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you're completely wrong.
Both teams wrong?
I'm pretty sure DIY eliminated the Era
Oh,
in the opening round.
cool.
And, they used DIY being eliminated from the tournament as the catalyst for Gargano to attack Ciampa. And it looks like your main event for the next takeover for the title is going to be Ciampa Gargano again.
Okay.
Oh,
Still going to watch it.
cool.
Even though you saw... Well, we were going to watch it anyway, but do you really want to see that a fourth time, considering you saw it 3 times in succession last year?
Yeah. To be honest. they
Yeah,
both-
so would I, because the matches were that good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they were so
That
good. Like,
says it all.
I genuinely will happily rate the first Gargano Ciampa. Like, when I gave a match rating on Twitter after that match, I believe it was, there are not enough stars in the fucking sky for me to adequately rate this match.
But do you think this is going to be straight up one-on-one, or we're going to have a stip?
I mean, it would be cool. I'd love it if they put a stipulation in it. Like, you know, they've got...
What stip? Because we've already had Last Man Standing.
We had Last Man Standing, we had their unsanctioned match, and we had just a straight-up match, I think. Is that the 3?
I think the first one, the
First was
first one
unsanctioned.
and the no... What was it? Yeah, unsanctioned, sorry.
Yeah,
Were the first 2, and
Yeah.
then they had Last Man Standing for the title.
yeah. What could they do? Ladder match?
Yeah?
I think...
That's doable?
I would fucking love to see those two in a ladder match. I can't see what other stipulation could really work.
Well, there's Cage.
Yeah, though they don't just pull Cage out of nowhere. They'd have to really build that up. Like they keep that for special occasions in NXT because they don't generally have the budget to put the Cage in often.
Well, they had Gargano Black in the Cage.
Yeah,
And that was on NXT TV.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a takeover match.
yeah. But that was
But
because
that,
they
again,
had the build up.
That was the only time all year they had
Yeah.
a cage match.
Yeah,
Apart from
I'd
War
see
Games.
that. I'd see them in a cage match. I don't rate cage matches that highly. Personally.
No, neither do I.
I think a ladder match would be a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
Give them a TLC match.
Or TLC match, yeah.
Yeah, they don't do those outside of
Yeah,
TLC though, do
that's
they?
the thing. Yeah.
No, I know. But have anyone on NXT done a TLC match?
Don't
No,
think-
because they're not on their main roster to be there for TLC.
I know.
I think
So let's give them a TLC match.
Yeah, but that's my point. They don't do it
Wasn't,
outside of the pay-per-view.
I can
Yeah.
get fucked.
It's just like you don't get a Hell
It's
in a Cell
NXT,
match.
we do what we want.
You don't get a Hell in a Cell match apart from one night in October, do you? You
Apart
don't
from
get
it's
Elimination
the odd one at
Chamber.
Mania, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, if Taker fancies one that year. Yeah.
yeah,
But even then, the last time that happened was 3 years ago.
yeah.
So,
That was one with Shane on it.
yes it was.
So yeah.
So, yeah. There's your next TakeOver main event. That's the next big thing that's going on. Eric Bugenhagen will be on TV soon enough.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes, please.
Did anybody see that YouTube interview with Matt Riddle?
No.
No, please.
Where he's being interviewed by Jeremy Borash, of all people.
Yes, because Borash joined
The
NXT.
commentator from TNA.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's working backstage quite heavily. He's quite involved in booking of, I think, NXT at the moment, but they're possibly talking about him booking some of the main roster stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that good?
I think
we'll
he
see,
was,
is that?
Well, we will see.
Yeah,
I think he
cool.
was fairly heavily involved in the booking of TNA when TNA was good.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see.
I'll keep fingers crossed then.
Not why I brought it up. The reason I brought it up is because one of the major things that Matt Riddle talked about is the fact that he wants to be the person to retire Brock Lesnar.
Really?
I mean, you gotta have dreams, I guess.
Apparently, that has been his goal since he decided to become a professional wrestler.
Wow.
Now,
okay.
bear in mind that Matt Riddle is an actual MMA,
Yeah, actual
guy.
MMA fighter. Yeah.
much like Brock.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of the main reasons he ever got into the idea of becoming a professional wrestler is so that he could stop Brock Lesnar from doing it.
Maybe he's the hero we deserve, man.
He was like, "Yeah, I hate his attitude. I hate the way he carries himself. I hate the way that he treats the wrestling business. He doesn't give it anywhere near enough respect.
Yeah.
I want to be, and I will be the guy that ends Brock Lesnar's professional wrestling career."
I would actually like to see that match.
I'd watch that.
If Brock was in it, Brock wanted to do that properly and wanted to put on a good match, like the kind of matches we've seen with Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. Fuck yeah, give me that match. I'll watch that.
I honestly don't see Brock having that attitude.
No, I don't.
I
he
more
won.
anticipate Brock
I mean,
going,
unless
"Well, I'm
there's-
going to purposely fuck him up now."
Unless there's a fucking huge payday for Brock at the end of that as part of as his retirement, get the fuck out thing, I don't see him doing it either. Because Brock does what the money suggests.
Can you imagine that? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, blah, 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 followed by...
My most hated entrance music. Just because
It
of
would
that
be
bro.
fine without
He comes
that.
out, he kicks his Crocs off, he takes his cap off. And then just 20 minutes of knee strikes and that weird lying down abdominal stretch he calls as a finisher.
That's odd.
But yeah, I mean, interesting.
Yeah.
But it made me be just like, yeah, I kind of want to see that too.
Yeah, love to see that. Like,
I mean, I'm down. I'm down with that.
say
I'd
if
much
Brock
rather
was in
watch
for it.
Eric Bugenhagen retire.
Oh,
from
if
Lesnar.
Bugenhagen retired Lesnar, that's his Hall of Fame situation secured. I mean, he's already got a foot in the door.
I mean,
Like,
shut up and
he
take
just
my
does
money.
like a drop
Yeah.
toe hold, right, and then puts him on a headlock on the floor, and then just this high pitched squeal in Brock's ear,
And he
Brock
taps.
taps. I would pay good money to watch that.
I'm so down.
Oh man.
That should be Bugenhagen's finisher, the high pitched Rob Halford squeal.
Just grabs them by the shoulders. No actual submission. Just grabs them by the shoulders and squeals in their face until they tap.
Yeah, like he's like the male real life equivalent of Cinderella out of Mortal Kombat.
Fucking amazing.
What's next on the agenda, Mr. Smash?
I am going to jump to our first Hall of Fame announcement for this year. D-Generation X, most notable for including China, that everyone's very excited about, which I am very excited about. They made a point of this on Raw with one of the things Triple H was talking about, and they have included China in all the video packages. They've made a point of whenever they're listing off the members that are going in, they've made sure that they do include her in everything. So that it's a good step forward to getting a solo entry for China for the Hall of Fame.
She should have had her solo entry first.
I agree.
That's all I'm going to say.
I 100% agree.
The Outlaws should have been put in as the Outlaws.
Yep.
I don't... No disrespect to Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. I don't think either of them had a career worth deserving an individual entry into the Hall of Fame. But as a tag team, they should have definitely made it in. So I think that both the Outlaws and China, especially, and to be fair, a million times more for China than the Outlaws, but I do think both of them should have had their specific Hall of Fame induction first, then do DX as a package.
Yeah, I agree.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, and Waltman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's different to the Outlaws. 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yep.
He had like that big spot where he beat Razor Ramon for the title,
Yeah.
the Intercontinental title. He obviously jumped to WCW, and despite being a cruiserweight, he was more often than not shoved in there with the heavyweights. He suffered that terrible thing where he turned against Kane in '99, and the audience just shit on him from that moment onwards.
There is the term X-Pac heat for a
X-Pac
reason.
heat, yeah. Which is why when you listen to people who talk in the business, I mentioned last time that I listened to Something to Wrestle With a lot, and Conrad Thompson asked Bruce Pritchard about X-Pac heat, and Bruce Pritchard was just like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And I'm like, how can you not know what he's talking about? From the minute he did that backstab on Kane in '99, the fans just shit on him no matter what he did.
Yeah.
Now remember Invasion, the WCW Invasion pay-per-view and everything, and ECW in 2001. Every single match, even the matches that had WWE heels in them, the audience chanted for the WWE guys, apart from X-Pac versus Billy Kidman.
Yeah.
The fans chanted for Billy Kidman because they fucking hated X-Pac that much. So when people who worked in the company at the time turn around and go, I don't know what you're talking about with the terms of X-Pac heat, it was like, well then you had your eyes and your ears shut during every single thing he was involved in from '99 onwards then, because it was fucking there.
Yeah, definitely.
Straight up.
Yeah.
But I think that the other members of DX do deserve their own individual
or tag team entrances.
Yeah, before they do them as a unit.
Yeah.
NWO, they haven't been done as a unit yet, have they?
Yeah. Well, the question is then, with NWO, with the way, because the WWE accepts a lot of the WCW chronology into its own timelines, everyone in WCW was in the NWO at one point. Like, if they've really got to try and do an actual decent snapshot of who was in the NWO.
Right, so Hogan's a Hall of Famer.
Yep. No.
Scott Hall is.
Kevin Nash.
Have they done Kevin Nash yet? They haven't, have they?
I don't think so.
Has Kevin Nash been put in the Hall of Fame?
I want to say yes, but
I want to say yes, but there's a part of me that's saying I'm not sure you're right there.
yeah.
When you talk about NWO, do you just do those three?
That is the question.
I know what you're saying when you say, look, like 3/4 of the roster was in the NWO at some point.
I would say more like 90%, to be honest.
Would you say that if you were going to induct the NWO into the Hall of Fame, just those three, or would you extend it to Big Show and X-Pac as well?
That's the further question. I mean, if they're already all of them in the Hall of Fame separately, what's the point of putting them in as a team? I mean, if Big Show retires, which, I mean, hopefully he will in a little while, then I think he probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame on his own.
I would say so.
Because he's been fucking hard working for a long time. He's maybe not had the most exciting matches, but he has put in his dues and seriously done his work. Let's have a look. I'm trying to search on this page. Like, if they're all in there individually, what's the point of putting them in as a team? Kevin Nash inducted Razor Ramon. Kevin Nash was inducted by Shawn Michaels in 2015.
Right, okay.
So all three of them of the NWO are technically Hall of Famers.
If Flair gets to go in twice, then why can't they?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
The only difference I would add...
The only counter-argument you can really give, and it's perfectly valid, is because it's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But, if the Horseman can get
Flair
in and he can be in
wants.
twice,
yeah.
and look, as great, as much as a legend is Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan made a fuckload more money for WWE than Ric Flair did.
Yeah.
So, you can put the NWO in as well.
Yeah.
You brought these guys up. I'm going to bring up the fact that Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart are about to be inducted this year as well as the Hart Foundation. Now, as far as we're concerned, the Hart Foundation also includes Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, and Brian Pillman. Mm-hmm. But the official Hart Foundation induction this year is just Bret and Jim, with Jimmy Hart as well. The tag team from the early 90s, not the stable from the late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, effectively, if you were like, you've got, if we're going to do stables and individuals as well, Sean Waltman could end up with more Hall of Fame inductions than anybody else, because he was in both NWO and Degeneration X.
Yeah.
And if he got a solo one, he'd be in the Hall of Fame 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is going to be in twice with this DX jump as well. So
obviously they're going to give Triple H his own individual
of course
induction.
They will,
yeah.
So he'd end up being in there twice.
Yeah.
And we're hoping for China to get in the solo one.
She
definitely
should. She should definitely get a solo induction.
Should have happened before Beth Phoenix.
Oh yes, definitely.
God,
yeah. It should have happened before Trish and fucking Lita.
Yeah, exactly. She paved the way for all of them.
Yeah. But this is the thing, isn't it? And it's like, people have been arguing this for years, and Mick Foley has been a huge pusher of get her in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I think I keep copying what he said. This is great because hopefully this opens the door for the people who really make that decision to go, all right, we'll give her the solo one.
Yeah.
Yes, it should have been the other way round, but if we get there, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when she does,
I'm going to say when. I'm going to keep it as a
solo
when.
induction, I'd be like, finally. But yeah, the way I would have done it is reverse of the way they are.
I get the impression that her entering the Hall of Fame in solo, from some of the backstage stuff I've heard, would be over Stephanie McMahon's dead body. Basically, I guess she kind of when they went DX, because they basically had a big hand in winning the Monday Night Wars. She couldn't say no to Chyna because Chyna was an integral part of that. But Stephanie McMahon and Chyna had big fucking heat between the two of them over Triple H. And I think it's over Stephanie McMahon's dead body that Chyna would get a solo entry. Unless there was a fuck ton of pressure.
Just go again, not too long ago, Bruce and Conrad Thompson did Something to Wrestle, which was purely about Triple H and Steph getting married.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that Bruce pointed out was that even after they actually got together and Triple H broke up with Chyna, the biggest proponent for pushing Chyna was Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
So I think what you're talking about may very well have been 100% accurate from Chyna's point of view.
Yeah. But not necessarily from the other side.
Not necessarily from Steph's.
Fair enough.
So I think, yes, Chyna did fucking hate Stephanie and was not happy with the way things were.
Yeah.
But from Bruce's perspective, from what he saw, it was like, even after that, when it was a whole Chyna Eddie thing and they weren't even together anymore, the person pushing for us to do something with Joni was Stephanie McMahon.
Okay, interesting to know.
And there's also a video that surfaced online recently of China basically saying that she wanted to recorded about a month or so before she died.
Yeah.
About how she was really regretful about how she handled the whole situation with WWE, and she wanted to talk to Vince and everybody and apologise about how the way she acted.
Oh, okay.
Because she's told everybody that they purposely fucked her over. And
Yeah.
Bruce was like, no, we didn't fire her.
Yeah.
Because there was heat between her and Stephanie because of the Triple H thing. She walked out.
Yeah.
She demanded like a fuckload more money while not actually doing any more than she was doing at the time. And
Yeah.
Vince was like, yeah, sorry, Joni, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
fair,
she
yeah.
stormed out and then for some reason decided to tell everybody that she'd been purposely fucked over because Triple H cheated on her with Steph.
Yeah.
And then there's been this video that surfaced recently. She was like, yeah, no, I want to apologise to them for the way that I handled things during that whole situation. And then sadly, a month later, she died. So we never got that resolution.
That's a shame.
So
yeah.
I hope they.
I don't know. I wasn't there. All I can tell you is what people who were there have said since,
Yeah, it's fair.
and what surfaced since, and that's it. So you might be 100% correct.
Yeah,
They might be 100%
I mean, you
correct.
saying that and like the stuff from, because I mean, obviously you've got a source that's closer to the whole thing. Like I'm literally just going on things I've picked up from other people. Sure, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd fucking love to see her inducted, and yeah,
That'd be a good day.
it would. I mean, the question is who would induct her. I could see like Alundra Blaze as a decent candidate to induct her.
Yeah, but they had no interaction with one another.
No, but I mean, I'm talking about like big women that kind of both set the business afire in sequence, basically.
I don't think Triple H should do it.
No, fuck no.
And I don't think Stephanie should do it. So
No.
you'd have to go with maybe somebody she had her biggest moment with in the ring that isn't one of those two.
WrestleMania match with Ivory was pretty good. Like 17.
Yeah.
I'd say either someone just
The
had a
Royal
massive-
Rumble match she had with Lita.
Yeah.
Either someone she's had a big match with, or someone she's a good friend with,
Yeah.
who is a big person in the
Or her
wrestling
mum.
business.
Yeah.
Somebody from
Or
her
mum.
family. Because we've
Yeah.
had other people who've died, had family members induct them in. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's a good point.
it would have to be a family member personally.
I would vote for Mick Foley, just because, and I've followed him on Facebook, whatever, for fucking years, and he always posts things about like their friendship off screen
Yeah. Okay.
at the time and in more recent years before she died. And he's been pushing for her to go in the Hall of Fame for so long.
Yeah, I
it's
can
like-
see that, yeah.
like from seeing the stuff he says, I'm like, well, he would be a good candidate to put in that pool of candidates.
Yeah. Probably a leading candidate, to be honest. The
Yeah.
way you put it like that, yeah.
I think it would also have a lot of weight coming from Mick Foley as well. Like, you'd know it was special with Mick. And you know he would do a good job of it as well.
Yeah.
What's next?
I've got 2 more items left on my list.
Okay.
I've got our extending list of releases and a certain Undertaker appearing at non-WWE events. Where do you want to go?
Let's go with releases first, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So this week, WWE lost Arn Anderson as a backstage producer, agent, booker, whatever it was he did. Probably an amalgamation of all of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hideo Itami from 205 Live. The Perfect 10! Ty Dillinger, who hasn't been on TV since last year after breaking his hand. And TJP from 205 Live.
Inaugural Cruiserweight Champion.
The inaugural Cruiserweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dillinger and Itami both asked to be released.
Okay.
Itami never gave any real statement about why. Dillinger did,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he basically turned around and said, look, just to save people wasting a load of time making up rumours and crap about this, yes, I have asked my release. the reason is that I think that it'd be more beneficial for me and for them and for somebody else if I just left. I have no hard feelings towards them. I thank them very much for all the opportunities they gave me, but I just don't see the point in dragging this out anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
There's been no official reason given, or even a rumoured innuendo reason given for TJP.
No,
He
that was out of the
didn't
blue.
ask for his release. The other two did. He
Yeah.
didn't ask. He's just been fired, basically.
Been future endeavoured. Yeah.
And, that piles up on the whole, apparently Dean Ambrose is going.
Yeah.
And apparently the Usos haven't re-signed. And apparently AJ Styles hasn't re-signed. And apparently Rusev's not happy.
And Shinsuke
And
Nakamura hasn't
apparently
resigned.
Shinsuke hasn't re-signed.
Yeah.
And apparently the Revival are pissed off, but have now been given the tag titles to try and keep them sweet. But who knows if that's actually happened, because they said in an interview that they were going to leave anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, not a good time to be Vince's blood pressure. I'm saying that I don't think there's any good time to be Vince's blood pressure, but
no.
The man who never sleeps. I don't think it would affect him that much, personally.
yeah. I mean, I think Itami, from what I understand, Itami's going back to Japan. I'm pretty sure that's where like the best days of his career have been. Probably see him again in like Dragon Gate or New Japan. Probably Dragon Gate because that's where he got his big breakthrough.
Back under his Kenta ring name.
Yeah, back under his Kenta, yeah. I imagine Ty Dillinger's going to be looking into AEW. Don't have a fucking clue about TJP. He might even come back to Impact because I think that's who he worked for before WWE. No idea about what's happened there, obviously. Yeah, it's interesting to just see who's going to still be with the company come after WrestleMania. I mean, usually that's when you have that slew of people going. Is they cut the fat after WrestleMania.
Yeah, just sort of like May time, isn't it? People get released and ask
get
for their
feature
release
endeavours,
and all that shit. You tend to see a large name of people disappear.
Like one year
and
they got like
signed.
15. They lost like 15 to 20 people. They just feature endeavoured them. Just went, yeah, you're done. Bye.
Yeah, they really did do a cut the fat moment, didn't they?
Yeah.
I honestly think they could afford to do the same thing now.
Oh, easily. They've got more than enough talent than they need, and they're not doing half the shit they should be with half the people.
Yeah.
Well, we've said 2 shows in a row now about how we're shocked that people like Tamina are still employed.
Yeah.
There's a number of people on that roster you could apply that to.
And the thing is, I wouldn't even put Tamina at the bottom. She's down there, but I'm sure there's people under her if I really thought about it.
Would you miss Kurt? We've already mentioned him. Would you miss Kurt Hawkins?
Not at current.
Not particularly.
Would you miss Zack Ryder?
Nope.
No.
Forgot he was employed until he appeared on Raw.
Would you miss Mojo Rawley?
Hell no.
No.
Would you miss No Way Jose?
No.
No way. Jose. No way. Sorry.
I'd be sad to lose No Way Jose because he was never given a chance to shine in the first place.
Yeah, he was dragged from NXT before he was ready and just not given a shot.
But there's so many people on that main roster, all of Sanity.
Yeah.
You've done nothing with them.
No,
You've done
they probably just do all the house show stuff.
nothing
Were they
with
good in NXT?
Yes.
Sanity?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look, watch the first War Games,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and that will encourage you to look up every Sanity match they ever had.
There aren't many. But yeah, look at
Because they
definitely.
got called up too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanity, especially Killian Dane.
Yeah.
The guy who, if you just look at them, when
Yeah.
you bear in mind it's Eric Young, former
Yeah.
TNA World Champion, Alexander Wolf, who you're just like, who? And unless you watch the Indies, because wasn't he in a stable with Marcel Bartel and Walter at one
Probably,
point?
yeah.
Because they're all German
yeah.
and Austrian.
Yeah, it's the German Empire. or
Match
whatever,
Camp
yeah.
or something was their
Yeah.
stable name,
Ring
wasn't
Camp.
it? Yeah. And Killian Dane. Killian Dane's the most impressive one of the
Yeah,
lot.
he is. What's amazing and what really kind of puts Killian Dane in an interesting spotlight for me is that he did a thing, when everyone was doing, this was me 10 years ago posts. He did a picture of himself 10 years ago. He was a fucking cruiserweight. He was like 203 pounds or something.
I didn't
10
see the
years ago when he
photos, but I
debuted.
have heard about this.
Yeah, he debuted as a cruiserweight.
That's insane.
Yeah, and now
he's borderline super heavyweight.
Yeah.
Good old back, sack and crack.
Yeah. And still moves like he's a cruiserweight sometimes. He has not forgotten. Gravity hasn't noticed yet.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely the MVP of that first War Games match.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Fuck me.
He had the most innovative moves. All of it.
Well, I mean, look at fucking War Raiders at the last takeover.
Yeah.
They fucking killed it.
I'm not sold on the War Raiders. I don't know why.
I know what you mean. I'm there with you. They're impressive, but there's something missing.
I'm not desperate to watch more of them. I can't even tell you why, but I'm just not desperate to see more War Raiders.
There are some people that are just like, you're good, but there's something not there. And I can never put my finger on what it is. They just don't have something that I would look for. I thought they were impressive, and I thought they really did kill it in that match. I thought it was really good. But like you say, I'm not desperate to see them again.
But going back to the
yes.
original topic, the releases and everything, as I say, both Hideo and Ty Dillinger had specifically requested to leave. When it comes to TJP, I'm like, really? Why him? He was the guy considered to be good enough to be the first ever champion.
Yeah. The guy they were going to carry that whole division
Why have you
on.
let him go? You've still got Arya Daivari on 205 Live. And you were using him as the mouthpiece for Hideo Itami, who just left.
Yep.
Why don't you fire Arya Daivari instead of TJP?
Yeah.
TJP's put on good matches. I've never seen Arya Daivari put on a good match, so why is he still employed and not this kid? And he's the youngest of the lot as well, isn't he?
I think
TJP?
so, yeah. Yeah.
So that's the one you're going to get the longevity out of. I don't get keeping Arya Daivari, who you're not even bothering to put in the ring, and sacking TJP. Unless he's pissed someone off.
Yeah. Or done something really stupid. Or a combination of the two.
I don't understand that logic.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good talent that they've just allowed to go back to
I'm
one
not
of their
going to miss
rivals.
him. I'm not going to miss him. You know, if we were talking to Cedric Alexander, I'd be like, what the fuck? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah,
But when you say TJP, I'm like, oh, that's weird. But at the same time, don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry, TJP. But that's, again, that's more based on how they used you as to your own wrestling ability. But I don't give a shit that he's going. I don't give a shit that Hideo Itami's going, personally.
They never
I
really
obviously
used
need
him
to
be
go
on.
and watch some of his indie stuff to realise why people gave a fuck in the first place, because based on his... he got injured a lot in NXT.
Yeah, he never really had a shot.
He never got the chance to showcase what he could do, but he also never did on 205 Live.
Yeah.
The only thing from his entire run with WWE is that he broke Brian Kendrick's face with a GTS, and that's the only thing I remember.
He had
and
a
now
pretty
that's
good...
why nobody's allowed to do that move anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
He had a pretty good takeover match with Bobby Roode. Like, when Bobby Roode was the NXT champion, he challenged. And they actually put together a really good match. And obviously how much of that was Bobby Roode being able to put together a good match with anyone, couldn't tell you. But they had a really good match, and it certainly did give me a bit of an insight into this is the Kenta that people talk about. He wasn't exceptional. I'm not going to say that there. I mean, this is obviously someone who'd been on the injured list for fucking ages, so probably a bit of ring rust. I mean, fucking weird that he came to NXT alongside Finn Balor. And you look at their career progressions. I mean, okay, Finn Balor hasn't exactly hit the fucking moon, but you look at their career progressions, and
he
that's
did,
really
because he
sad.
was the first Universal Champion, but he
Briefly.
just had the extreme bad luck of getting severely injured at the same time.
I guess that's their parallel.
Just imagine how different his career would have been if his shoulder had just stayed where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's over there on the good timeline. Let's see if we can find a way to get over there.
Yes.
I am upset to see Ty Dillinger go, because I loved the Perfect 10 gimmick in NXT.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see it carry on and do well on the main roster.
Yeah.
They didn't try to do anything of significance with him. Then they put him in the US title shot
As
briefly.
a filler, really, yeah.
And then he got hurt and he was never seen since. And then before he got the chance to come back, he was like, yeah, I don't want to be with this company anymore.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. I am genuinely upset that I'll never get to see Ty Dillinger again on WWE, but
I mean, I guess, he spent the whole time before being on the injured list mostly being on the house show network, house show circuit rather. He got pulled up just to fill in a gap in the Randy Orton. Who was Randy Orton feuding with at the time? It was Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, maybe. I think over the US title, and then.
Oh no, he was in the AJ Styles Baron Corbin US title feud.
Was he? Okay.
That was the triple threat match he was in.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, he basically did shit all on the main roster, and then, I mean, if you've been off injured for that long, and then you're talking about coming back to wrestling, and you say to them, okay, what have you got for me to do when I come back from injury? And they go, house shows? If I was tied in injury, I'd be going, no.
No, they would just say nothing.
Yeah.
Which is why Austin Aries left.
Yeah. Well, no, Austin Aries left over, what's his name? Bada Bing, stupid fucking idiot in the room.
No. That's not true at all.
Oh, no, that was Neville. Sorry, that was Neville. Sorry,
I actually read an interview where Austin Aries said,
"Yeah,
I was at home following an injury, and they rang me and said, we've got nothing for you when you come back, so don't bother coming back."
Yeah, okay, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah,
and that's why we don't have Austin Aries anymore.
Yeah, I got Austin Aries and Neville mixed up. It's such a shame to lose both of them. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I personally didn't really give a shite that Neville was gone. I was upset that Austin Aries was gone.
He's Neville's hit the fucking ground running back in the Indies though. He's gone to the Pac gimmick instead, and I've watched a couple of his matches and they've been fucking good. Really, really fucking good. He's a dirty heel like he was in 205, and he's had some insanely good matches. Like, he's really hit the ground running.
Good.
Yeah. I can see you.
I
care
don't know.
Out,
Does main event in the Indies, money wise, match jobbing in WWE? Who knows?
Tell you.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works out. Yeah. My viewpoint is that if you're not on television on a weekly basis, then you're not doing well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's only one company that does weekly wrestling television in this country, anyway.
Yeah.
So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, he ain't doing well. Putting on amazing matches in bingo halls ain't the same as doing it on a worldwide television audience.
No, it is not, and it's
I'd like to,
you put the best match of your career on.
I want that sort of success for him because he's obviously got the talent for it. But
I mean, maybe he'll do what McIntyre's done: claw his way back up again, reinvent himself in the Indies, and get WWE begging him to sign that contract.
EC3 is a guy that WWE fired because they couldn't be fucked to do anything with him, and he suddenly now look at him now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then again, so was Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Oh yeah, that wasn't his first stint with them.
No, really.
Yeah. And people that you think aren't going to do shit suddenly become superstars.
Yeah.
And the guys you think are going to be amazing don't do shit. Remember Nexus? 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Nexus.
Heath Ledger and Daniel Bryan are the only two still there.
That's crazy.
One of them's been a multi-time world champion.
The other's Danny Bryan.
The other's got kids.
And then you've got Heath Slater. He's done well enough.
Yeah. Tag team champion.
New Nexus. Bray Wyatt. All those other guys are gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Should we jump on?
But just going of all the people who currently are talking about leaving, would you genuinely miss any of them?
To go through the list we mentioned with you earlier.
Hideo Itami.
It's gone already, yeah.
No.
Ty Dillinger. I will miss him.
Yeah.
I didn't see enough of him to know, but I trust your judgment.
Yeah.
TJP.
Same.
The Usos.
At this point now, no. Yeah.
Not really, no.
The Revival.
Yes.
I mean, if they were, this is a big if. If they let them have better tag matches and they let the tag division actually flourish, then we'll miss them. But if it carries on the way it's going, then
based on their complaint is that the whole tag division is a pile of shit.
Yeah,
as we were saying last time we were talking. So they don't. It's not just that they want to be the champions and earn the extra money. They do want the whole tag division to flourish better. So.
Which is a very fair comment.
Giving them the titles is not enough to change their opinions, seemingly, based on what they've said so far. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, having seen their work in NXT, I would definitely miss them if they walked out the door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't miss them based on what's been going on recently, but knowing what they can do, I'd be like, that's just a waste.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Rusev.
I'm a little on the fence with Rusev. I go up and down with him. Sometimes I'm really into it and I'm really behind it if he catches me in the right mood. And then other times I'm just like, fuck off. So I suppose I would a little bit, but I also think you could get 10 Rusevs.
I think I would miss him as a performer. They've booked him like dog shit. Like let's make no bones about that. They have booked him like dog shit.
I think that's why I wouldn't really miss him too much.
As a performer, yes, I would miss him.
You?
Apart from that last man standing match he had with Cena fucking ages ago, I can't think of a Rusev match worth talking about. So yeah, no, wouldn't miss him at all.
Fair enough.
Dean Ambrose.
No.
I think I like the idea of Dean Ambrose more than the actual article. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it kind of, he's just fizzled out, hasn't he? Like you look at the other two from the Shield, they flourished. You know, whether you can argue booking decisions of Reigns or whatever, but I do consider Ambrose the bottom of the Shield. So he has just kind of fizzled out. The whole like lunatic thing, bit of a madman running around, like, again, you can have 10 of them.
There's not anything left for him to do. He's been the champion, and he didn't wow during that title reign. He's been tag champion. He's a Grand Slam guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So apart from winning Rumbles and money, he's already won Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So apart from winning Rumbles and more random title reigns, there's nothing left for him to do.
Yeah.
And again, if we're looking at pure wrestling ability, name an Ambrose match that you recommend to people that isn't a gimmick match
or a Shield
match.
Zero.
You can't. Can you? So
can't.
Bye.
Yeah.
Off you go. I genuinely don't think Dean Ambrose leaving is going to affect them in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think it matters.
No.
I think the person that will be most annoyed would be Laura, and then at the end of the day, I think she'd get over it.
Yeah.
I told you when he came out of the Rumble, I forgot he was even there.
Yeah.
He'd even come back from the injured list. So yeah, I wouldn't give a shit about Dean Ambrose leaving personally.
Yeah.
He'd need to significantly step up his ring game for me to care.
Yes.
Great Matt. Great promos. He can do his character work very well in the ring. Bell rings.
Yeah.
How long is this going to go on for?
Yeah, exactly.
She agrees.
So yeah, that's my whole viewpoint on Dean Ambrose.
Who else we got?
Shinsuke.
Shinsuke.
Oh yeah, Shinsuke. He'll probably go back to Japan.
Yeah. Wouldn't. I'm pretty sure he'll go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So from my point of view, I wouldn't miss him. I'd just watch him on a different medium.
He's somebody who, one of the many people who get stupidly hyped up on the indies, and when he came in, he was good.
He was great on NXT.
And then he came to the main roster, and he was still good. And it's slowly and steadily declined, in my opinion. Like, when he won the Rumble, I was quite hyped on him. I thought he was really good. But I don't feel like he's improved in any way, and I don't feel like his matches, I couldn't name you any. You know, I mean, off the back of knowing he won the Rumble, I know he was at WrestleMania having a match against someone.
AJ.
Literally couldn't tell you who it was.
AJ Styles.
There you go.
Because
He
was
won
one
the
of
Rumble
my...
that year. How can you not know that he was in the title
AJ
match?
No, that's what I'm saying. I know he was in the time match. I couldn't tell you who against. That's what I'm saying.
gonna be honest with
That's
you,
how much
AJ
little I can
Styles,
remember it.
Shinsuke Nakamura was like my fucking Christmas list. I was
You know what?
so fucking hyped for those two to finally face again after they faced before they left New Japan. I was so fucking hyped. I left that match so fucking disappointed.
The world did.
Oh, yes, so did I.
Because, they had so much potential, and then they fucked it.
It was the best thing since they'd ever conceived, and then the bell rang.
Yeah.
And it just didn't
That was
happen.
the problem.
And it just didn't work.
They didn't give them enough time for a start. They gave
I
them
felt
such
it
a
went
really
on for far
short...
too fucking long.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 minutes can feel like 20 if it's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing... that was the match that I was the most excited about before the pay-per-view started.
Yeah.
And then the pay-per-view ended, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm going to say that the best two matches were the mixed tag and Asuka Flair.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's everyone now, isn't it?
AJ hasn't re-signed yet, and would definitely miss. Him and Finn Balor are the only two reasons I care about the main roster.
I'd miss AJ, but I feel like he has also done everything except win a Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
But
apart from Money in the Bank and Rumble wins, there's not... Well, he's got like a handful of feuds that he could still do.
Yeah, and they would be interesting. They'd be worth watching,
That's
sure.
why I mentioned about Orton, AJ earlier.
Yeah.
That would be worth... He'd have a handful of feuds still worth doing. But then I'd expect him to be there to put over new people and then go.
Yeah.
If you want to get rid of him
Or
now,
move into a training role.
Shame I didn't get those feuds that I thought about beforehand, but at the same time, what else is there for him to really do?
No.
In terms of standout moments. I'd love to watch AJ Johnny Gargano.
Yes. Would definitely like to see. AJ Ricochet.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't want to lose him, but at the same time, I wouldn't whinge about it if he left.
It'd be one of those things where you kind of, you stand at the door as he's walking away, you go, that's a shame. Bye, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Last thing on the list.
Is?
Mr. Taker appearing at StarCast. And don't forget, Jonathan Coachman will be at StarCast as well.
Ugh. The coach. The only guy who can be considered worse than Michael Cole.
Wow, that also takes some work.
It's hard to be that terrible. Yeah. So, thoughts on...
You just
Taker?
totally killed my enthusiasm for doing this by mentioning Jonathan Coachman. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
No worries. Is there much to say about Taker at StarCast? Everyone's expecting him to now be in AEW. Will he? Won't he?
He's not going to be in
I doubt
AEW.
so.
Look,
Of course
because
he's
he's
not.
appearing at StarCast doesn't mean he's joining the other promotion.
Exactly.
Yes, StarCast is heavily, in terms of the way it's booked and put together, it is heavily influenced by people who are involved in AEW. But remember that the head guy that is in charge of doing StarCast is Conrad Thompson, and he is nothing to do with AEW.
Yeah.
Yes, he knows those guys and he's got friendships with those guys, but he has no control, no input. He's not investing. He's nothing to do professionally with AEW whatsoever. He's just putting on a convention on the same weekend they're doing their pay-per-view. Yeah. And
if anything, that's clever booking.
He has forked out a stupid amount of money for The Undertaker to appear that day.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Vince McMahon isn't happy with that.
Yep. Vince is pissed because he's seeing the link. But then
He's seeing the link no one else is.
JR has gone on record as saying, I don't think it makes any fucking difference whatsoever. But other people have turned around and said, no, seriously, Vince is pissed.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Even if he did turn up in AEW, does it matter?
I doubt he ever will.
He's not going to...
As what? I 100% doubt he will, right? But if he ever did, just walked in as Taker, would it really matter?
I mean, that would be a hell of a scalp for AEW to have had on one of their shows.
But he's not suddenly going to go from I appear twice in the year for WWE and to becoming I'm going to do full fucking time for AEW,
No,
is
of
he?
course not.
So, AEW, like, okay, we're just starting. Do we have the money to suddenly pay for Taker to turn up once? Well,
No.
yes. But that's probably money that would be worth more investment in somebody that we could have for more than one
Something
off.
we could have weekly, yeah.
This is like TNA turning around going, oh yeah, let's pay for fucking Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair to turn up and hope
Again.
that it makes things better. And no, it
Again.
made things fucking worse.
Yeah.
Cost them a load of money and made things worse. No, I'm not saying that Taker would make things worse for AEW, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to turn around and say, right, the money we're going to fork out just to get him to walk through the fucking door is worth spending before we even know what our fan base is like yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if he's going to charge $25,000 an hour for random Q&A sessions, as you mentioned last time,
Yeah.
what's he going to charge to turn
wrestle,
up to a wrestling event?
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's just going to squash whoever they send out. So you're burying your own talent straight away for this one-off appearance of The Undertaker.
I wonder if that's why he had a squash match with John Cena last time, because he demanded too much of a performance fee. I doubt it, but it just occurred to me.
No, I think it's because they had that whole fucking I lost to Roman Reigns for absolutely no reason the year before, and the fans were pissed off with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to make you squash Cena and everyone's going to fucking love it.
Yeah. I must admit, I would have thought it would be hilarious if they'd done the whole, the Undertaker's here, so John Cena gets in the ring, you do the whole Undertaker entrance, gets down to the bottom of the ring, steps into the ring, takes off his hat, takes off his coat, picks up the microphone and just goes, "No, John," and walks back out again. I would have laughed my fucking ass off. It would have been anticlimactic, but it would have been hilarious.
No, I'm glad they went with Cena got squashed.
Yes,
in
I am
2.5
too.
minutes,
I must admit, I am too, because that was glorious to watch.
I would have been pissed off with what you just suggested.
Getting annoyed with all of the build-up, the back and forth with Cena stuff. Like,
Yeah.
God, is it totally worth it? 100% worth it.
Yeah.
I'd watch it, sit through it all again.
Yeah.
Like, the build-up to him only appearing on the night, 2.5 minutes, bye.
Perfect.
Worth every minute.
Yeah.
Of John moaning for weeks. Worth it. All of it.
Someone
Loved
else.
it.
I kind of hope that's what happens this year.
Me too.
Again.
Someone else? Who are we going to pick this year?
Yeah, someone else suggested the idea of like John Cena being in the ring at WrestleMania. It's like, come on, bring the Undertaker down, bring the Undertaker down, bring the Undertaker down. And someone from the Authority, like Vince McMahon, coming out and saying, "John, the Undertaker never existed. You're in a home. Yeah. You imagine this."
Right, I know this isn't on the agenda, but I'm going to bring these two things up anyway.
Bring it.
Apparently, Roman Reigns is coming back next week.
What?
Allegedly, yeah, Vince has demanded that he appears next week. I think that's his next attempt to spike the ratings. He's demanded that Roman Reigns comes back to give them an update on his condition. He's not necessarily coming back to wrestle. He's coming back to give an update.
So we're having the Ric Flair 70th birthday celebration, and Roman Reigns giving us a health update next Monday.
Could he not just do a WWE.com exclusive interview,
No.
please?
No, they want that rating. They want that rating boost of the Roman Reigns name.
Fuck a duck. I'm good.
If the ratings tank,
Hilarious.
then hopefully that is the cup of cold water, slap in the face, fucking hooking your nipples up to a car battery wake-up call that Vince McMahon needs to stop pushing Roman fucking Reigns down
I
our
hope so,
throat.
yeah. I mean, as a performer, I don't hate Roman Reigns. As a performer, don't hate him. He has been booked really fucking bad.
That's the thing. That he's not horrendous.
No.
He's no way near the worst person on the roster.
No.
Okay, finishing moves shit, but you can say that about a lot of people in WWE at the moment. It's all in the booking.
Yeah.
All in the booking. Like,
No, I don't really agree. I think he's the Usos smushed together into a super persona that just does the same shite over and over.
Super
and over.
sos.
Is he
Okay, here's some wrestling for about 30 seconds, and then I'm just going to do the Superman punch 50 fucking times in the time I've got left. And I'll throw about 20 spears in as well. That was all of 2018 and 2017.
Yeah.
Wrestle properly or fuck off, yeah?
Are you suggesting he's both Usos in an overcoat? Because I could definitely...
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know he can.
Oh,
because
yeah, he can.
he's only degraded into that style of performing in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The years beforehand, he wrestled
Yeah.
properly. Now
Look at-
it's just, I can't be bothered. Superman punch, Superman punch,
Yeah.
Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, spear.
Superman punch.
Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman. It's fucking stop, dude. Seriously.
I mean, to illustrate that, his match against AJ Styles, Extreme Rules, a couple of years ago, like 2016, something like that, was really good. Like, that actually gave me a new respect for Roman Reigns, but then that's probably because AJ Styles can have a good match with anyone.
Or is it again because Roman Reigns keeps being put in matches with Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, and they're two big guys who can't be bothered to do anything?
Yeah, I think that's the case.
And that's all he's got to work with.
Yeah. And I don't think Brock particularly likes Roman Reigns himself, and that's why they don't have good matches together. Because if Brock likes his opponent, you get good matches.
Have you missed him?
Nope.
No.
No. He can go to AEW as well, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I don't want AEW unclean like that.
Thing is that if he came back and it's almost inevitable, he'll come back and just be slotted into the same position he was in. If they
Probably win the Universal title
on his
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if he just came back and just went into,
Feud with someone lower on the card.
and then just built slowly.
Yeah, I could be behind that.
People would get behind him, but they just don't. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I don't want to
Vince
see him
is
at the
too
top of the card
focused on
immediately.
fucking jerking off over him.
Yeah.
I don't honestly think. I think he would definitely need to have stepped up his in-ring game a bit.
Yeah.
For that to happen. I don't think you could just turn around and go, okay, he can have 3 months of beating like upper mid-carders and then become the champion.
Oh no, I'm not saying
if I've
3
got to
months.
sit
I'm
through-
saying a year.
No, I'm
Not
talking
if
about
I've got to
6 to
sit
8 months,
through a
yeah.
year's worth of Superman punches and spears beforehand. I'm just going to fucking hate him for that whole year. It's
Yeah.
the reason I fucking hate him now, and that will be the reason I continue to fucking
Yeah.
hate him, because he just does his signature and his finisher over and over again, and that's
Yeah.
it. Oh, with the obligatory written into law Samoan drop.
Yep. All
I don't want to watch that.
Samoans have it built in.
I don't want to watch that. At all. Now, you look at, we had 10 years of John Cena. Okay, I take 15 minutes worth of offense, then I hit my 3 shoulder tackles, and then all of my signature moves in one hit, and I win. For a fucking decade.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah, he did lose to other people, usually due to interference or weird, stupid stipulations, but if it was one-on-one, straight up normal match, John Cena would dick everybody. And then suddenly AJ Styles came on, and it made John Cena step up his game.
Yeah. Yes, his match with his 3 best of 3. Well, okay, no, ignoring the tag team one, his 2 in the best of 3, and then their 1-on-1 at the Rumble the following year were fucking great.
But then he even continued to have decent matches with other people that weren't AJ Styles from that point onwards.
All of a sudden,
if
AJ Styles
somebody
made him
could
good.
get in the ring with Roman Reigns and inspire him to actually put some fucking thought into his matches, and then he continued to think that way,
Great.
Imagine.
please God, if we have to do something with Roman Reigns, inspire him to put some thought into his matches. Because I'm sick of 20 Superman punches and 10 spears within 5 minutes, and then he wins everything.
Imagine what could have happened with John Cena had AJ Styles turned up like in the middle of John Cena's 10 Moves of Doom era and inspired him then to pick up his game.
I'd have a much higher opinion of John Cena.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Likewise. Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Same with Reigns.
Yeah.
I had to sit through, I had to sit through several years of Austin, but he barely wrestled. It was all promo work, and then he'd get in the ring sporadically. Then had to have 5 to 6 years of Triple H fucking beating everybody.
Yeah.
And then I had to have a decade of Cena beating everybody. And now I've had 5 to 6 years of Roman Reigns beating everybody. This is not, as I said before, this is not the 80s where Hogan can beat everybody and everybody's happy about it. It doesn't work like that anymore. You can't just have one guy kick the shit out of everyone, especially when that guy isn't even the best wrestler.
Yep.
Even in the 80s, Hulk Hogan wasn't the best wrestler.
God no.
Savage and Steamboat and God knows how many people were far better than him, but he was number 1 the entire time.
Yep.
Because of his character and his Americana rubbish.
And his merch, mainly.
It doesn't work like that anymore.
Nope.
Okay. I have a question for you both then, off the back of that. one person from the main roster and one person from any of the sort of NXT 205 Live brands.
Mm-hmm.
So one from each.
Yeah.
Who would make Reigns better in a one-on-one? Who do you think would inspire him to be better?
That is a really good question because I don't know.
I thought of it on the fly, so I understand if it would take you a minute to think up an answer.
I think maybe someone like Adam Cole from NXT.
I was thinking Adam Cole.
Because you've got that depth of indie experience.
Adam Cole, baby!
I was wondering how long that was going to take.
If it wasn't going to be him, Gargano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't say Black because Black's very much I do a fuckload of strikes.
Yeah, I don't think he would work.
And I don't.
No, I can't imagine that inspiring him at all.
Maybe Ciampa as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Ciampa, yeah.
Possibly even the Dream.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good shout.
But I think the most likely candidates are Cole or Gargano from NXT.
Yeah.
Okay.
Main roster.
There's no
It's
one on the
almost
main
harder,
roster that
isn't
really
it?
jumps at me, apart from AJ. But we've already had that shot and it's not really worked.
Andrade.
Yeah. I mean, he's... Yeah. Yeah, I think
He's
you're
about the right size.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right level of athleticism and agility.
Yeah.
To get something worthwhile out of Roman Reigns, I think.
I would
Okay.
like to see Ali Reigns. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, one of the matches that stood out for Reigns before he disappeared is when he defended the title against Balor on that one-off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, maybe having a proper program with Balor, that would certainly be worth watching.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Balor somehow wins the title, and then, or maybe even for the Intercontinental title, someone this summer, if they have the balls to keep the title on Balor for long enough.
Not let Reigns win it, but have a good feud for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Fastlane coming up soon.
Yep.
We have a tag title rematch between McMiz Besties and the Superkick Bros, also known as the Usos.
Yep.
And Daniel Bryan defends his heavyweight title against Kofi Kingston. We know Brock's not going to defend against anyone.
No, he don't get out of bed for a Fastlane.
Who's Ronda going to defend against? Anybody? Do you think she's going to have another a pay-per-view title defense before Mania?
I don't see it.
I don't see it, but if they do, it'll be another throwaway like Chamber.
Yeah, fucking better well not be whoever it is.
They would be better off not doing one.
Yeah.
Or
having
give
it as
Mickey
like a tag match
James or maybe Ember Moon
Ember Moon.
the
Yeah.
spotlight for a little bit.
I don't think Ember Moon's back
very
till after
good.
Mania. I think
But if
she's
she got
injured.
squashed in 2 minutes like Riot, I'd be like, don't bother.
Yeah, no, I don't think Ember's back till after Mania.
See Asuka defending against anybody?
I hope she has a defense. Maybe against. She got pinned on SmackDown.
She got pinned by Mandy Rose,
Yeah.
so I think it would make sense to have Mandy Rose get a title shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'd like to see Asuka at least have a fucking match with that title.
Yeah. We'd like to see R-Truth defend the US title
Yeah.
Yes,
on a
please.
pay-per-view, you know. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't see anything but retentions for any of those matches of that show. Like, there's no way they're changing anything before Mania.
Yeah.
Now, loads of people are banging on about Kofi Kingston. They're like, Kofi Kingston should get a WWE title shot at WrestleMania. And I'm like, well, he's getting one at Fastlane, boys and girls. Don't expect him to get it 2 months in a row.
No.
So, who do you think Bryan's going to be defending against? We know who Brock's defending against. We know who Rousey's defending against. Charlotte and Becky.
It's going to be, isn't it?
My suspicion is that there's going to be a dusty finish in the Bryan Kingston match. I don't think that's going to have a proper ending. I think that whoever else is teaming up with Bryan and Rowan is going to show up. Are you going to see maybe Harper or Bray Wyatt teaming up together? That's going to be a dusty finish. It's going to end by disqualification or count out or
that's a
who
thought,
gives a fuck
isn't it?
how. And then you're going to see them again at Mania. That's my suspicion.
1-on-1 or as a multi-man?
I don't see it anyway as any other way than 1-on-1. Like, they can't have the WWE title not defended, surely.
Oh, it'll be defended.
Yeah.
It's just a question of in what sort of match.
If it's a dusty finish, are they gonna completely take Kofi out and be like, well, that was your 5 minutes, or are they gonna go, oh, it was a dusty finish, you can make it a triple threat at Mania and you just won't be that much fun in the match. I would quite like to see a triple threat of like Bryan, AJ, Kofi. I think that could be a really good triple. Or Bryan, AJ, Kofi, and Joe. What about... So you said a second ago about potentially Harper or Bray coming back.
Yeah.
So what about if Harper comes back, joins in with Bryan and co?
Yeah.
And then Wyatt comes back and he's like, wait a minute, you're my fucking family, what's going on? Starts a feud with Bryan.
Yeah, Bray Bryan.
Luke Harper comes down to interfere with the match or whatever, some shit. And then the lights go out, you get the weird pictures and shit, and then Bray appears and he's like, these guys are mine. And they take out Bryan. You end up back 3 years ago with the Wyatt
Psycho
family.
Hill.
Or you have like...
Good point. Good point.
Or you have them kind of torn between the two of them. And the two of them just basically feuding over the title and...
Daddy and Daddy fighting over the kids.
Why are Mummy and Daddy fighting?
The suggestion that I keep reading online is that Daniel Bryan will be defending his championship at WrestleMania versus Kevin Owens.
Oh,
I'll watch
okay. That is a match I'd like to see.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Booking wise, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No,
No,
it
he's
does
going to have
not.
to do something serious to get himself in that title picture.
No.
Yeah, I mean, in the time between like him
No.
turning up.
No. Daniel Bryan is the top champion on the SmackDown brand, which is run by Shane McMahon. Why the fuck would Shane McMahon allow Kevin Owens, after everything that happened last year, to rejoin his roster?
Because they have a really short memory in wrestling?
Well, that's the only excuse they could give, and it would still be fucking terrible.
You know what's going to happen? Like there'll be like a backstage moment, and it'll be a throwaway moment where Owens like walk past Shane.
But that's what's annoying. That's what's annoying though, is that when suddenly talent just get to pick and choose which roster they're on.
Yeah.
It's fair enough when it's like, okay, you won the Royal Rumble, you get to choose which champion you challenge. But when it's you've been injured, you now get to switch brands. It's like,
I mean,
so
kayfabe
even suggesting Bray Wyatt,
no. I mean,
he's on Raw.
kayfabe-wise, it could be that they get injured and then their exclusivity contract with X brand lapses, and then they get to reassign to another brand.
Well, that's like saying they got fired and they're a free agent and they can just turn up on the other brand if they like.
Yeah.
But there's no announcement to back that up. So
No,
it's
I
just
know.
like, oh,
I
I
know.
just chose to switch brands. Like, well, you can't work for McDonald's and just say, fuck it, I'm going to Burger King, and then you just turn up and Burger King go, yeah, alright, it's uniform. It don't work like that, does it? But apparently, in WWE main roster, that's exactly how it works. You know what? Fuck Raw. I'm going to SmackDown. Welcome to SmackDown, dude! No, it would make no sense for Kevin Owens to suddenly come back and go, yeah, I'm just going to challenge for the heavyweight title on SmackDown, and Shane McMahon to go, yeah, okay.
I was going to say Sami Zayn, but it's exactly the same boat.
Yeah. So. And even for Bray Wyatt, it's like, I'm sorry, weren't you on Raw last time we saw you? Yes, you were. What are you doing here? Go away.
Well,
But, if you can buy a ticket and suddenly jump the guardrail with no security stopping you, then fucking anything can happen.
What else can you do?
Pretty sure weren't Kevin Owens and Zayn on SmackDown before they left anyway?
No,
they're on Raw.
No, they
Both
lost
on
that
Raw.
tag match to Bryan and Shane,
course,
and were forced to go to Raw.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of that
fair
tag
enough.
match last year. So, yeah.
I don't know. I'd still like to see the match. I mean, if they built it right, they cleared that up. I'd still like to see it.
I'd want to Fastlane. I want to see the Revival defend the tag titles on the pay-per-view in a proper match, not pre-show rubbish.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to see a US title defense.
Yeah.
I want to see a women's tag team title defense before before the SmackDown one.
Yeah,
But
Intercontinental
we're going to get the
title.
SmackDown one first. I would like to see the IC title, but as we sacrificed the US title completely this
fair.
pay-per-view, and IC got one, I wouldn't mind if it was roles reversed this time. No IC and a US.
Agreed.
But again, Fastlane's very much just going to be
It's a filler show, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year it wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed the 5-way main event last year,
That was really good.
which Styles retained in.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
We'll know more when we come to do the next episode. We'll have some match card to
In approximately
discuss.
3 weeks' time.
Indeed. Cool.
So yeah, I think that's a good finishing point on this month's edition of the Zamboni Wrestling Podcast. This has been...
Mr. Toby Smash.
And this has been...
I'm Mr. Nick Bartlett.
And this has been the Mark of Serena. Peace!
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.
Watching.
Listening. Whatever. Pick one. Just do a thing.